Well, the reviews are in for Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. If you haven't checked out my review in progress, I basically said it is unpleasantly good, which I explained that in the video, so make sure and check that out. I go through quite a bit. Now, I did leave some elements out that people were asking questions in the comments. I'll cover some of that in this live stream. We're also going to just sort of look at what folks are saying. We'll look at the Metacritic, the OpenCritic. I listened to a ton of reviews this morning on YouTube. Not really hearing anybody disagreeing with some of the major points that I made, both of praise and criticism. It seems the consensus is sort of landing within the hemisphere of what I said in my video. So if you watch my review in progress, you're going to get a lot of that same feedback. People that are diving into New Game Plus, are also echoing some of the things that I was sort of starting to notice, that the areas become familiar, and then you don't really have to worry about a lot of that pain, but then the weapons and the magic and things like that start to really become the central aspect of your own build and your own approach to the game. So if you guys are watching this later, be sure to hit the like button, be sure to hit the subscribe button. This was a pretty cool opportunity for us to be able to get early access to a game. For me to dump that much time into it is actually a pretty significant challenge for me, shuffling my life around, shuffling sort of my streams around. And we try to, make it to where when we do that, we don't take too much from those live shows. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you guys are watching this in the live environment or later, the like button helps immensely. The members help immensely. And you guys went crazy gifting members last night on the upload. And if you guys have been here for a while and you enjoy the show, this show, like many podcasts out there, is essentially funded by you. Now, we obviously don't put the episodes on Patreon or anything like that and make you pay for them, but we do extra content for paying members. So if you want to hit join, hit member plus at $6. You get into the behind the scenes segment we do every day, as well as extra streams with my wife IRL and things like that. And we have been setting larger stretch goals for the next 2 weeks. I will be out of town that first week in August, so I'm giving you guys that opportunity to unlock Saturday community game night streams. Saturday streams are not something that I typically do, but I wanted to give it a chance for extra content before we leave. The video was amazing and made me even more hyped to try the game later today. Great work, Lono. Thank you. I really appreciated all the kind words, all the compliments, everything everybody said on the video. I was a little, I don't know, I was nervous because it was I was honest, I was critical. It ended up being, I think a good sized video, 26 minutes. But then when I started listening to, oh yeah, hang on. Yeah, we're really bright. There we go. Who cares? Then when we started listening to the, I can't get the lighting to react right. Yeah, Wired Rope, that's true of every premiere. You can't watch the premiere at its actual highest resolution. All premieres premiere at a 1080 or whatever. So the video looks significantly better after the fact. We have watched premieres before of game trailers, and I've told you guys, I'm we got to rewatch it. We got to refresh and watch it. This is going to drive me crazy. Hang on one second. I don't know how I'm supposed to, I think I use paper to get it to drop. The brightness is typically what I do. Let me use this. Let's try this. I don't have a clue why it's doing that. I don't know. You went back and rewatched it. Somebody says it's not a Souls-like. Swords and hard bosses doesn't mean it's a Souls-like. It's a Souls-like. I don't know why you would say it's not. They classify it as a Souls-like. The wiki classifies it as a Souls-like. I'm not really sure what would make you say it's not a Souls-like. Number one, what are you basing that off of? What are you saying about it is not a Souls-like? Number two, I don't know. Seems like a waste of debate time to debate something that the devs seem to say themselves. I mean, it's essentially Sekiro meets Wukong is what it felt like to me. You can change the brightness in your face cam in OBS. I guess we could just do that today. I typically don't do that. But yeah, color correction. Oh, golly. That's maybe just a little less gamma. Yeah, that looks really artificial when we do that. I don't know. It doesn't allow me. I can like fade. I can like disappear and go away. I don't understand anything. I don't know. It's the shirt. The shirt's what always messes with it. Like I can get the white balance exactly right if I do like if I wear a black shirt. If I don't wear a black shirt, it like gets really irritated. Yeah, P. Dudley, that was one aspect I left out of my review. By the way, guys, as you're piling in, go through the ritual of smashing the like button. You can also backstab, definitely a Souls-like. I was on the impression it didn't have a bunch of mechanics that makes a Souls-like. I'm all good with being wrong. What mechanics do you think make a Souls-like that do you think is absent from this video game? What a great review video. I'll be giving it a go on release. Thank you. I appreciate that. I saw several reviews say the level design is almost as good as Dark Souls 1. Yeah, like, so that's one aspect I left out of my video. The level design is good, but there are times where you're like, oh, I'm so glad I'm playing a Souls game where they don't tell you where to go. I retread this one time. I had to retread so many areas. I literally couldn't figure out where I was supposed to go next. And you know what happened? I had opened up a path, and I went, and I could go left or I could go right. And when I looked to the right, I recognized stuff. And I was like, oh, this is a shortcut. So I go over, I kick the ladder down, I get my shortcut, and then I proceed to kind of fight through that area and check it. I'm like, I need to check this area. I can't remember where I'm supposed to go. Well, I completely forgot that I could go left. It just sort of like left my mind because I was sort of in like retread mode. Like, right, I was always going and checking, I was checking all these areas. So for like an entire play session, and I kept telling my wife, I was like, I cannot tell where I'm supposed to go. Can you? And finally, I see an area and I'm like, wait, I haven't been there yet. How do I get there? And I sort of use the level and I trace visually and I'm like, oh, I need to get over there. And I get over there and I'm like, oh, I was like, I remember this. I came here. I could go right or left, and I went right because I recognized the area, and I was like, oh, cool, I can unlock a shortcut. If I went left, it opened up into a whole new area, and that's where I fought the chick in the water, who she drops the key to let me go to the next area. So, have you increased the number of ads to keep getting one every 2 to 3 minutes right now? I don't even touch it, Chris. I have it set to automatic. If you don't want to see them, you got to be a sub. I don't even mess with it. I just set it and forget it. I let Purple manage that. By the way, I'll pause him over here. And if you guys, thank you, Twilight. There you go, Twilight. That just took care of you. No ads. Yeah, we don't want anybody seeing ads. I can't babysit it. They've got like things you can do, and I'm like, I just set it and forget it. How do the summons work? I only did it once. The other time I tried to do it, it was like there's nobody to summon. I couldn't make heads or tails of when you can do it and when you can't do it. It didn't necessarily seem to be a very consistent thing. That's actually a Han shot first, and so did you. Thank you so much, Twilight, for gifting that member to them. We are at 325 on the week. You guys are crushing it. The stretch goal being all the way, we're trying to double that and get to 1,000 every week for that Saturday stream. Yo, what's good, Light Leap? So the navigating of the world and the puzzleness of it, I think, will irritate people, because they'll be like, where the heck am I supposed to go? One of the reviews even talked about, they're just straight up dead ends. You'll go this one time, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's going to be like a DLC area or something. I have no idea. You go all this way on this path, and you just get to the end of it and just everything's on fire. And I'm like, oh. And I've never gone back there since. Now, I don't know if super late game I'm going to go back there. I don't know. It's in the early area. So I couldn't understand. I was like, well, maybe I'm supposed to do like fire resistance and run through it. So I literally took like a thing, like a consumable, and tried to run through it. And I died. And I was like, okay. So there are sections like that where you're like, why'd you build this? Like, I came all the way back here, and usually it's for like an item. You know, you'll go all the way back there and there'll be like an item on the ground, and that's fine. But it didn't feel like an offshoot exploration. Like, you cross a bridge, you walk across a large area, you cut through a cave, you go all the way up this thing, and there's nothing up there. I'm like, okay. And then there was an area where similarly you cross this big, huge bridge, you go up into this area, and it's like a squared, sort of room. You check all the corners. There's a little path down the back, and there's a chest, an item, and a demon that you fight. Well, now you got to go all the way back. And so some of the design, I think, is going to irritate people because it rewards exploration, but you definitely feel this sense of like some of this is like offshoot paths that just don't go anywhere. They just dead end, and you just have to come all the way back. I didn't mind that because I was getting the items. It only became a frustration point when I was trying to find where to go next, and I was like, I have to check everywhere that I've been. I feel like I've missed something. So I would go all the way back on a path and be like, nope, yeah, it's a dead end, and come all the way back. So I think some of the interweaving paths and the density, I think people are going to praise who like that, especially like Souls boys. They love that stuff. The shortcuts also seem pretty logical and sensible. You will see a door, and you can kind of work out in your mind where you are spatially to get to that door. But there are some pleasant surprises. You're like, oh, I'm back at the beginning, great. Like, and then you've got a nice shortcut. So some of the more painful areas, those shortcuts are more celebrated. You're happy to have the shortcut because the area just sucks to be in. A lot of people talked about that. They talked about how, same thing I pointed out, they love to put poison and area of effect and traps and trollish enemy positions. I watched Fighting Cowboy's review. He touched more on, just how strong you can be, the balance. I actually felt pretty encouraged that not a lot of people were using two weapons in the boss fights. They seemed like me, like they would gravitate towards one particular weapon that they liked and kind of stick to it. And I was the same way. I didn't feel like switching weapons in boss fights so far. Maybe I'll change my mind later on. I just never once felt like there was a sensible time to do it. It made sense in group settings because, you could switch and do this pretty awesome attack. But in boss fights, it did not seem to be all that sensible. What are the types? So you have dual blade, you have two swords, you have long sword, you have spear, you have axe. And they all have their own style. It seems like there's pretty general consensus that like the spear is the least interesting of them all. The spear does have a very effective swift draw, which you can have your sword out and you do enough to earn the Skyborn points to spend on a spell or an ability, and you can use your swift attack. And your swift attack, like you suddenly get out the other weapon and she just like charges with the spear. That can be really, really effective at times. But it's also in a weird bind. Thank you, Joker Quinn, for gifting a member over here on YouTube. Appreciate that. Hanshot first, and so did you. Each of you guys shooting first for your respective platforms. It's now 1-1. And thank you to everybody who gifted last night. Charles Freeman, Stone Spire, MASH. If I'm forgetting anybody, please shout them out because it was late and we were watching the thing together. Guys, make sure you're smashing the like button as well. Let's go through that ritual. Let's get this stream going about as quick as we can. Oh, and Alex. Yes, thank you, Alex. That's right. Does the boss change dynamically when you change your weapon? No, the boss doesn't change at all. No. You will definitely feel a sense of my build, my approach sucks. You will feel that at times. You're like, I'm doing something wrong. And then you'll change it up. When you change it up, I got a lot of agreement on this. I watched a lot of videos this morning that you'll wipe the floor with the boss. The game very much pendulum swings. You're like, I'm getting freaking clocked here. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. And then all of a sudden it clicks and you are annihilating a boss, just taking them to task. And that's when it's really, really fun. Interestingly enough, one review said there's a skill check boss that's really going to stall a lot of people out, and it wasn't the one that I thought. I think the chick in the water is going to do that because of how much her fight depends on block. And if people don't have themselves set up with the deflect in the way that I set it up, you're going to get stuck for a long time. Even after I did that, it was still a tough fight. It has poor performance on the PS5. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily... I would say it's one of the more ugly, pretty games I've played. Like, it's a good-looking game, but the performance mode's pretty ugly, pretty muddy, and almost like a blurry effect when you're moving around. But I was able to fight without any major problems. I had 2, maybe 3 major entire game hitches in the 30-plus hours that I've played. They're pretty bad when they happen. Thankfully, they were not super common. Like, if they were super common, I wouldn't have played. I would have stopped. But they were super rare, and I'm not quite sure what it is. I mean, it could be a memory leak. It seemed to happen most in the snowy area. That's probably because there's just so much foggish, particle effect-ish stuff going on. Yeah, the freeze on the giant boss was bad because I basically took a ton of damage because of it. And I wasn't playing through something that was glitching like a capture card or something. These things happened while I was like in my living room on the TV, so it wasn't my capture method. It was the game. Yeah, remapping controls. So I had to remap Swift Draw. I played the entire... all the way to that water boss where like she's in the water and she's hard, and I think it's a skill check. I played that entire time one weapon only, longsword only, and creature's like, well, you have a dual sense edge. Why don't you put the swift draw down here? So I did an unbind of clicking in the left stick. I unbound that on the profile, and then I bound it to there so I could have my swift draw down there. Because I don't know about you guys, when I'm playing a game like this and it gets really crazy and real panicky and I'm trying to get away and I'm like trying to survive, I'll click in like that left stick by accident because it's your movement. I'll even do it with the right stick because it's your camera. Less often though, it's usually my left stick because I'm trying to move away. Well, that means you would swift draw by accident. You're like trying to get away, and all of a sudden you like get out your spear and start charging. So for the entire first half of the game, the only way I could sort of minimize that was, since I couldn't like unbind it, I literally just only carried one weapon. It was the only way I could do it not accidentally. Like in the middle of a really intense boss fight, I didn't want to accidentally do it, so I just played with one weapon. Well, it made me really, really good with the longsword. So I think people are going to approach that very differently with respect to if they have more control than I do, a more disciplined player that doesn't accidentally click in that left stick, or maybe they're playing on mouse and keyboard. They'll be able to utilize maybe the swift draw more often. What's good, Johnny? Always. Thank you, Jeffrey Grands, for 5 months of resubs. Is Wu Chang like Kazan in terms of difficulty? Not a Souls fan, but loved Kazan. Pretty challenging, but loved it. I've not played enough Kazan to commentate. Kazan's much more parry focused. Also, Kazan has difficulty options, so you can lower the difficulty if you want. This game does not have difficulty options. So, I feel like it's a pretty hard game. Guys like fighting Cowboy, he felt like it was on the more easier side of things because of the way that you can build yourself to be really strong. I'd be curious to know what people think as they're playing through their first playthrough. Because when you roll it over into New Game Plus, everybody kept saying the same thing. You're ridiculously strong on New Game Plus. Like, it's easy New Game Plus. Like, your builds are kind of nuts at that point. I also watched a review who said second half of the game, his build was so insane, he was just wrecking everything. He was wrecking bosses. And I believe Fighting Cowboy shows off a build that might be the one this guy was talking about. It was just like, and I've not used the dual swords that much. I want to now after watching Cowboy. I was like, oh my gosh, I really was loving the longsword, but man, those dual swords look insane. And he had one that was like healing him, and he had a spell that was protecting him. And I was like, oh good gosh, this might be the build the guy was talking about. Yeah, Craze Gaming, I think, is the one that I watched that said that just like in the second half, he had just an insane build where he was just stomping on stuff. And I'm like, I'm probably at the point where I could do that build. So if he releases that video, I'll check it out and be like, okay, let me see. Because I feel like I've got a really long way to go. I've defeated maybe 15 bosses. I'm 30-something hours in. And I don't even think I'm to the chapter where they don't want us to show anything yet. They're like, chapter 5, you know, you loop back through a passageway to like the beginning of the game. They're like, don't show anything after that point. And I'm like, I'm still not even freaking there. Like, what? Like, I feel like I played slower than some of these other guys. They're probably just more efficient than me. They're more of a mind to like analyze the game, analyze their build, and then have high efficiency. That was a slower process for me. But once I did analyze my build, my approach, my skill tree, I did feel like, oh, now I'm much stronger in this fight. The spear boss in particular was probably my favorite fight where something clicked. There's another fight I'll upload. We're gonna upload some videos of just the fights, in the coming days, just because, you know, trying to get more and more content out there for people. And there was a fight yesterday where I fought her. And I was so irritated. I was like, I don't understand this fight at all. I was like, I cannot tell what they want me to do. I also don't like when runbacks are intentionally slow. This run back, you have to ride an elevator. I'm like, get the frick out of here. Just put a stake of Marika outside, please. You know, so I can just get back to business. But I finally started to read her wind-up. And I was like, oh, on her wind-up, I can get behind her, do a full-charged heavy attack, and then you knock her down and get a backstab. That's a huge strategy, I think, that a lot of the better players are probably utilizing, is once you learn all their telegraphs, you just dodge a bunch, get behind them, and then heavy attack their back, is what a lot of the really good players are probably doing. How many hours have you put in? Over 30. Yeah, over 30 hours. Now, Fighting Cowboy said your first playthrough should only take about 25 hours. I worry his bias is why he thinks that, because he's a really good player, right? His proficiency is much higher than the average player. So if you play at his level, sure, you could probably walk through this game first playthrough 25 hours. I'm over 30, and I don't even know if I'm halfway done yet, because I stalled out on a couple of bosses. One boss in particular took me like 4.5 hours. I don't... To be fair, he said 25 to 50, to 40. He did, but like when he said 25, I was like, holy frick. I was like, how in the world would you do that? But then I had to remember, like, okay, he's kind of a god tier player. He probably is much more proficient than me. He's also got the mind to come up with builds and broken stuff. So he did say 25 to 40, but the first thing he said was like, yeah, your first playthrough should take about 25 hours. And I was like, good golly. I was like, I don't know how in the world you could do that. And then I kind of had to remember who was talking, and I was like, well, he's so much better than me. Of course he's going to be able to beat it in 25 hours. I'm at 30 plus, and I don't even think I'm halfway through the dadgum game, which I think is going to be a challenge for me to continue. I want to continue. I want to keep playing. But one of the guys in one of the reviews said that he said that there is the final area is the worst area as far as like there's poison. You just want to get through it. And I'm like, oh, really? They do this again near the end? I would say their infatuation with pain from the environment, I think, is a little too high. It does get a little sadist at times. I'm like, gee, many Christmas, can I just move through an area? How's the soundtrack? I think the soundtrack's fine. I agreed with whoever I watched this morning that said that it's not super memorable. It also might be a little too quiet. The chick in the water, when you get to her second phase, I noticed that the music got cooler as I played, but I also noticed it was a little quiet. I think Cowboy talked about that, about how like the booming organ Latin music that hits in a Dark Souls game and a FromSoft game is an enormous part of the experience, and in this game it's just a little bit more on the quiet side. It's not prominent, so maybe you could turn it up, and if that's something that you want. Like Kojima, you might be onto something. What are you saying that in reference to? Is 30 hours enough to review? 20 hours wasn't enough for Starfield? I think it's enough in a game like this. I think I didn't listen to a single review that was out of step with what I had said. When I saw it score on Metacritic in the mid-70s, I was like, yeah, I'm really happy with our POV. I think people are going to see that what I'm saying is fair, that it's unpleasantly good. It's like, it's just an unpleasant game to be in. You've really got to chew around some of that fat, and then the boss fights are the reward. They're the dessert because they're so, so good. And they reward your adaptation and your experimentation, which I think is a really, really good thing. Sadist towards having poison environments and environments with flames and stuff that harm you. Oh, they love it in this game. Oh my gosh, do they love it. They put things in a couple of spots where they literally did it to troll you. Like, they knew this trip mine's going to get 75% of the people that come back here for this chest. Because those open world boss fights, they are really challenging. If their eyes are glowing, be prepared to get your frickin' butt kicked, okay? So you beat him, and I beat him first try, and I barely survive, and I drink a potion. I'm like, let me go get this guy's chest. Funk, mine pops up. You can dodge the mines if you're quick enough. I'm a little old man status, so once that mine pops up, I'm like not ready, right? You're not like in fight mode. Everybody has like a different feel, right? When you're in fight mode, you're like ready. You're like, I'm going to dodge. So it got me. Largely, you just look for them and you can see them, but they blend in. It's just like this little like black little nub sticking out of the snow. And you learn their positions and can also see their positions. So they're not like 100% hidden. I think maybe people misunderstood my point a teeny bit. I didn't mean to indicate that like you can't see them, but they definitely like hide them in the snow, and you don't really notice them a lot of the times, which plays a pretty significant role in the area just being painful. And I did appreciate a couple reviews highlighting the fact that there are areas where there's guys up on spots that you can't get to, and they're just shooting you. I think it's fair to say from a critical standpoint that pain from an enemy I think should generally be mitigated through your own defense, but also your offense. Like putting an enemy in a position where you just literally can't get to them and they're just raining down explosive shots on you. I think that's a little corny. I would say I wouldn't do that. I don't mind putting environmental hazards or traps or any of that. But when there's a guy that I literally can't get to and he's just like shooting down, I got to an area last night and he didn't even hit me. It was just annoying. It's like he's just sitting up there shooting a gun every once in a while. And I literally cannot get to him. Like I've got to go around, climb ladders, and like come down behind him or whatever. Yeah, and then the fake shrine. Thank you, Detonator, for 4 months of memberships. The fake shrine, I think, is arguably, I think stuff like that is the developer sort of sucker punching the player, which I am never been a fan of. If you're going to set up an instance of difficulty, damage, or challenge, I need to know that it's coming, right? It's one thing to have like a bridge break and you fall into a new area and you're like, what is this, right? Those types of surprises I think are totally fine. But if I'm like walking up to a shrine to use all the great XP I just got from a boss fight and the shrine is fake and it grabs me and throws me down, I just don't think that's a very good way to treat the player. It feels like you're messing with me. It doesn't feel like you're giving me a game to experience and a challenge to overcome. It just feels like you're messing with me. And I'm not a huge fan of it. Thankfully, that was the only time I've run into a fake shrine. I haven't run into another one since. Which is, again, I think they knew what they were doing. I think they knew people were going to struggle with the boss fight. It was going to be grueling. And they were going to be desperate for a shrine. And there's not an immediate shrine after you beat him. Now, maybe I missed it. I don't know. It is possible that I missed it. But I think they knew what they were doing. They knew you were going to feel that desperation of like, come on, where's a shrine? I'm so hurt. I got nothing left. And then you finally see it. You run up to it, and it kills you. So, wasn't a huge fan of that. It also added insult to injury because that was the first time I had to interact with the madness mechanic of fighting my own demon. If your madness builds up all the way to full, you have to fight a demon of yourself to get your XP, your souls back. Well, I wasn't ready. I hadn't fought her yet, and she's really, really hard. And when your madness is at max, you deal more damage but take more damage. So you're super glass cannon, and she killed me very quickly. There are times where you will die so fast, it's even hard to understand what happens. There's a couple of enemies that their attacks are so fast, where they catch you in like a little combo, you're like, wait, I'm dead? It's super quick. There was also a spot in the video where I die to fire, and I, to this day, like, I've looked at the clip numerous times, I, to this day, do not have a clue why I die so fast here. I legit can't figure it out. Hang on a second. We're going to have to go in here, and we're going to have to, hang on, go back here. I can't mess with the camera like that. Okay, we're going to have to go to filters. We're going to have to go to color correction. I can't mess with the opacity. Oops. Okay. I think that should fix it. Yeah. I can't mess with the opacity because it's going to mess with this filter that we use for this little scene here. Okay, so yeah. So I cannot, for the life of me, I cannot figure out why I die so fast here. So you see how my health bar is full? My health bar is totally full. He will nick me here. So he gets me a teeny bit. Not a big deal. That's like, 5% of my health bar. I'm fine, right? Full health still. I step into the fire. I am instantly at full fire. Okay? So look, this is how fast it is. I dodge there. He nicks me. I dodge to the left. Just like that. So this is one of the reasons why having constant environmental hazards, I think, is a significant, downer. Because look at this area that they're giving me to fight in. It's just like this narrow path. I didn't fall off the ledge. And in my estimation, right? In my estimation, look at where the fire is. The fire is off the ledge. The fire's off the ledge. I don't feel this is a legitimate use of the fire or the damage from it. I would argue that it might even be a bit of a glitch. Because, you watch where she ends up. That to me was just like, oh my gosh. Because I remember I watched it back and I'm like, what in the world got me? It basically acted like I fell into the fire, because if you fall into the fire, it instantly fills the fire gauge and you're going to die. It basically acted like I fell, like the fire clipped through the floor. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Is it's like it acted like I was down in the fire, and it's like I wasn't. I was on the ledge. I should have been. Okay, you can see it clip through. Right. So there's stuff like that you're going to be pretty irritated when it happens, and then you just learn. Yeah, just completely. Don't go near that ledge. Don't go near the fire. The worst part about it is when that happens and you're really far in an area, you might not even have souls or XP or currency at risk. You're just really far in an area. That's really irritating because you're like, I didn't make a mistake. I didn't do anything wrong. I slightly stepped in fire and you instantly killed me. You'll get through areas and you'll also have situations where, there's just a crazy, there's just like this crazy strong enemy, and they'll kill you super, super fast. And you're just like, oh, golly, like, what the heck? And then you got to fight your way all the way back there. So some of their combos and some of those quick deaths can be pretty irritating. Let me see if I can't fix this. I can't get it to go down. I can't get it to go down. I cannot get the white balance to go down. I don't understand it. I don't understand what has happened. That's the best we're going to do. That's the best we're going to get. That's not as bad as it was. The one thing I noticed is the menu looks identical to Wuchang. Yo, thank you, Stone Spire, for gifting a member, getting us to 3. Oh, I bet you I know what he's going to do. Stone Spire's going to do another one. He's going to try to bait the 20 bomb. This guy has been so crazy faithful with these baits of single gifteds, and we are now doing 5 every 50. I had to back off a teeny bit. We were doing a little too much with the gifted on my ends. So either platform can steal this. Whoever hits it gets it. So let's see what happens. It's now 3-2. Thank you guys so much. Would you say it's better than Berserker? I would say it's very different than Berserker. Berserker is a lot more parry focused. This game is a mixture of parries and dodges. You've really got to get good at the dodges. There's also times where you're going to need to mix the two together. So there's a couple of enemies that will do this, and it's really fun when you master it. But it can also be very frustrating. What's good, feed? You will have to dodge their non-blade attacks. So if they're punching or they're kicking or they're like just trying to slap you or something, you can't block that with your sword. You cannot. So you have to dodge. So what ends up happening sometimes is I would block with my sword, and then they would immediately go into a physical attack that I have to dodge. So you definitely have to kind of like intersperse those at times. You can't just always block, always parry, or always dodge. There were numerous combos as well that I literally felt like they were built in a way to frustrate you and make you feel like the only thing I can do is dodge the first one and block the second, or vice versa. It definitely feels at times where they want you to kind of intersperse your two defensive choices. I think I would like this game more than Kazan based on the aesthetic and the core gameplay loop. Whenever someone says boss fights take an hour or more, instant no buy. Yeah, you won't want to play this game if you don't want to spend a lot of time in a boss fight, because you will. You 100% will. You will be in boss fights for a long time. Unless you're god tier player and you understand like how to navigate builds and things of that nature, you will be in boss fights for a long time. Yeah. Is the game responsive? I feel like it's super responsive, but I also feel like they do things with like your cooldown on dodge that doesn't feel like it's in line with the speed of the enemy sometimes. There were moments where I felt like you want me to dodge faster than the game lets me. There are times where it feels that way, because they're like swing, 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 and you're like, okay, let me try dodge, dodge, dodge. And I think there are times where that cooldown might need to be looked at. I do think there were times where I felt like you're asking me to dodge faster than the game will even let me. Like, you can just spam it, like dodge, 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 and you don't feel fast enough for some of the encounters. And that's when I just started doing like a dodge and then a block, or I call it like a first dodge combo. If you mess up the first dodge, you're done. The first dodge combos, you will actually sometimes dodge the first attack, but you don't do it at the right time. So then you're in that cooldown, and you're cooked. The second hit's going to get you. So there's just a breath of it. I mean, I just don't think it should be there at all, given the speed of some of the boss fights especially. Did you get to the Perfect Bride boss, the one the IGN previewed months back? I think that's where I just got. I think that's the current fight. I went in one time, and I'm like, what the frick is this? Let's see. Wu Chang IGN boss. What was it called? Bride? Official Bride boss. Let's see if this is her. Yep. Yeah, I just got to her. Yeah. I just got to this fight. She's super creepy and gross. Yeah. I was in this fight for two seconds. And I, like, not 2 seconds, but like, she came down. She started doing stuff. And I mean, I felt like I was dead so fast. It looks like they're using spear. Oh, they already got a backstab on her. Yeah. So it looks like they're using spear, and then now they're with the dual blades. I literally thought, I bet you I'm going to have to run dual blades against her. They're just kind of spamming. I think they're running dual blades because dual blades get something called clash. Cowboy kind of explains how there were times where he felt like the dual blades allowed him to just sort of attack through their attacks. You're basically your attack serves as a block, kind of, if that makes sense. So as long as you're swinging your dual blade at the right time, it'll basically intersect with her incoming attack and essentially minimize it. Yeah. This is the vid that made me think the game is more Devil May Cry than Soulslike. It's very much a Soulslike from what I can tell. That's like Sekiro, actually, because you can attack the block. The clash mechanic, similar to Sekiro and Wukong, with see-through. Yeah. The controls look lag. I don't think I ever felt like there was any kind of lag in the controls. They felt very responsive. Yeah. You don't have patience for fights like this, says Bumblepants. This is how I described it in my review, which if you guys have not checked out my review yet, please give it some love. That's always a great opportunity for us to get access to a review. We have let me give this thing here. Let's go. Yeah, there you go. If you guys over there on Purple haven't watched it yet and you want to watch it, give it a watch. You guys here in YouTube as well, give it a watch, give it a comment. I'll go through and respond to as many comments as I can. I've been doing that. I've been trying to respond to as many of your comments or your questions, which you guys can obviously ask here as well. It actually looks a lot like Wukong. To me, it feels like Sekiro meets Wukong, because Wukong is a very dodge-centric game, and your dodging rewards you with stuff, right? I've not played Wukong in a very long time, but I remember that. Like, if you dodge, it kind of rewards you. Same thing happens in this game. When you effectively dodge, you get Skyborn, and you use that for your abilities or your spells. I did agree with the review that I read, but I also wanted to push back on this. I can't remember who said this. But his issue with the dodge was, if you're far away and they swing and you dodge, it doesn't count. It doesn't give you any points. You actively have to be sort of hit by the attack in the iframe for it to give you credit, and he didn't like that. I actually think that's a fitting way to have it set up. It's promoting the solution. It's kind of guiding you. I think the more aggressive I have been with bosses, the better the fights have gone for me. The more aggressive, like I was even watching my footage in last night's review and we were watching it together. And the chick in the water, Captain Honglin or whatever her name is, there were multiple times I was like, she's super neutral right now. I should be attacking. She kind of got in my head because she did have a couple of things she would do in response if you would try to attack her too many times. But there was multiple times in the fight where I beat her, you know, in the footage in my review, and I'm sitting there thinking I'm playing too passive. Well, I've played a lot more of the game since then, so I have more of this aggressive mindset of like, push them, go hit them. If they're going to just stand there, take a crack at it, see if it'll let you hit them, see if it'll let you put damage on them. Especially because you're trying to fill that posture break meter. It's like a little circle on them. And as the circle fills, you know, they'll go down for a backstab. So as I was watching my own footage, I was like, yeah, I'm not playing aggressive enough. Well, I think that's why the dodge system works the way that it does. It's encouraging you to be close to them, to be near, so that you can be aggressive. Like if you just sit back and play passive, a lot of the enemies are going to punish you for that. They've got range attacks. They can jump really far. They'll be like right on top of you. So... I think last night's approach to the review was excellent. I hope you guys do more like that. Longer, in-depth review video, but still in a live environment. It was unique and fun. Somebody left a comment, and it was a really, really nice comment. And I want to read it here, and I want to react to it because I did respond to them on the video. And it's from Incarcerated Glitch, or no, I'm sorry, Incarcerated Lick. And so he says, bit of a mad idea, but hear me out. I started watching you in February of 2016. I entered the No Rage cage, and initially I came back because it was a space to talk Destiny. Then eventually I came back because of your opinions. For me, watching you over 9 years, the best version of product you offer is when you analyze game systems. This is not the first time I have been told this. Creature has told me that. You guys have told me that. Like, Lono breaking down the systems of a game is super enjoyable. I don't know why. I talk about it maybe in a way that people like. I don't know, but people like that. I've gotten that feedback over the years. And so he says here, it's clearly what you're best at, and I think you could do this with Soulslikes. Maybe a new version of From Friday. There are so many Soulslikes you could break apart, analyze, and then maybe even center members' content around playing the game for an hour or two afterwards. You could play Wolong Fallen Dynasty. No interest in Wolong. Black Myth if they fix performance. Kazan, AI Limit, Another Crab's Treasure, and even talk more about Wu Chang. There's plenty of content to mine there without even having to go back to the games with less quality of life focus like a Dark Souls 1 or a 2. Anyway, just a thought. For me, the main offering has always been how you analyze game systems and debate those systems with the audience. Yeah, I appreciated Ollie's response to that tweet, Fuzzy. I thought Ollie from Digital Founder did a really good job just speaking in a truthful way. So my response to this was simple. My response to this comment was very, very simple. I said, it's a great suggestion that lacks one major component, desire. I think I would struggle to want to do this as a regular aspect of content. Me and these games have a love-hate relationship, which is the honest-to-goodness truth. The way that I've described this a little bit ago, I think I interrupted myself when somebody said that, they just don't have the patience for these types of games or something like that. Somebody said something like that, and I think I interrupted myself. I describe this as like going to the gym. You never want to go to the gym, even the most disciplined person. Now, gym rats want to go to the gym, but they're weird, right? We can all say that they're weird. But, you're like, I don't want to go. I don't want to do legs this today. I don't want to do arms this today. And then later in the day, you're really glad that you did. You feel amazing. The endorphins release, and you're just like, ah. That's what these games are to me. They are a workout. It presses me and stretches me beyond my comfort zone. It makes me have to be self-reflecting and don't get too angry and be in control of my emotions. It's a very trying and very exhausting process, right? So I don't know if I would want to do that as a core part of my content, because I think I would get burned out very quickly, because I just don't have that desire. I'm not like, oh yeah, that's really what I want to do. I can't wait to boot up Kazan and break down its systems for you guys. I don't have a desire to do that. I enjoy it, but I enjoy it to the same degree that I enjoy like a 3.5-hour Oppenheimer movie. I don't want to watch that all of the time. I watch movies like that on a very rare occasion. They're just too long. They're too serious. Like, I'm just trying to chill on the couch with my wife, right? Like, I'm just trying to, like, play Donkey Kong Bonanza with her, or watch a funny show. Or we enjoyed, you know, a show like Severance. But again, that's like an hour. You know, the story moves along. I can shut it off and go to bed. So I think that's the biggest struggle, is I don't disagree with what he is saying. I do thoroughly enjoy breaking down the systems of a game and being critical or, you know, praising it. And I did that with wuchangfallenfeathers. I was like, okay, let's talk about why madness creates a volitional flat tire. Let's talk about why all the poison, the blight, the corruption, let's talk about why that creates volitional flat tire, and why it doesn't make for a pleasant exploratory, you know. You're encouraging the player to explore because there's items everywhere, but then you really discourage the player from exploring by, like, making it incredibly painful just to, like, move around in the dadgum world. So, like, I enjoyed that. So I don't know if there's a way to channel that into other games or game types. I certainly don't know if I would be able to do that with this game genre. I think I would burn out very quickly. If this was not review access, Wu Chang would have driven me away from itself. That opening, some of those opening areas with all the poison and stuff, I probably would have put the game down and not gone back. And then I would have come back maybe, and I would have pushed through. I'd have fought that boss. I'd have gotten killed by that shrine. I'd have lost all my XP from the demon, and I'd have uninstalled. I would have uninstalled. I'd been like, the game's it's not respecting me. The game is, the game is being a bit of a bully. It's picking on me. Like, that's what my attitude would have been. Largely because, like, I play games to relax, and it's just not relaxing to feel like the game is putting you on edge. Somebody said it last night, I think it was Jaster, like, you feel like you're walking on eggshells. You're like, ooh, you're just constantly on edge. Like, that's not very relaxing to me. It's like, so I adapted. I accepted the game on its terms, largely because I had review access, and I felt like it would have been a really dumb thing to do, to be like, well, I didn't like it, so I put it down. We were anticipating doing a satirical montage of me basically saying, do you like this? Do you like this? Do you like this? Then this game is for you. And it was going to be super, like, satirical about, like, this is a game for soul sadists. This is a game for people who just absolutely love pain. But I sort of crested over that and really started enjoying my time. And then last night I was in an area that made me want to snap my controller in half again. I was like, there's traps, there's poison, there's gotcha moments, there's jump out moments, and I was like, are you freaking serious? And I got through it, and then I got to a nice checkpoint, and now I'm in a boss. And knowing that there's an area even later that's worse, you know, it makes me wonder, you know, if I'm gonna run out of gas, you know what I mean? Just because of my personality, like, it's a huge stretch for me. It's a huge stretch for me to play a game like this and to press on. I also didn't say this in the video because I didn't want to draw comparisons that didn't make any sense. But as far as performance and performance mode goes, if you're playing a game like Death Stranding 2 and you're in the Decima engine, and then you come to a game like this, you are really going to notice the rough edges, because Decima will spoil you. Like, the Decima engine in Death Stranding, it just looks and runs so nice, so smooth, that when I got into this game, I was like, ooh, man, that performance mode it's not very pretty. It gets the job done. Right? It's like an old beat up truck. It'll get you there. But it is not pretty. It is not. They do that blurring effect thing on her, like her hair and her character model gets kind of blurry when you're moving the camera around. If you do the uncapped frames, you get all kinds of screen tearing. This game's gonna make Lono say actual cuss words. Oh, I cursed up a storm when the shrine killed me. I cursed up a storm when that frickin' demon killed me and I lost all my XP from the boss fight. I was furious. I was very angry. It was really hard to press on at that point. I was like, I was like, the game is fighting to make me not like it. Like, you're making me, you want me to be angry is what it felt like. It didn't seem, so there are times where you're in a boss fight or you're in a fight and you're angry, but you're not angry by design. You're angry because you haven't figured it out yet, right? You're angry because you haven't beat it yet. There are times where I feel like there are things in this game and it's designed to tick you off. It is not designed to be challenging. It's designed to irritate you. Like the shrine that kills you, or the gotcha moments, the ha-ha, and they push you off a ledge. I literally think that's there to frustrate you, to make you angry as an aspect of the game itself. You're trying to stay in control. You're not just trying to master the game, like you're trying to master yourself. And I literally think that's why they do it. They're like, no, this is literally here to irritate the player. We want them to be frustrated as a part of the game's actual design. Now, you could agree or disagree with that from a game design perspective, but if you accept it on its terms, you have to make a decision. Do I want to play a game where part of the learning process is learning where all those rough spots are, being in control of myself, not letting the game win and tick me off, and overcome it? Or are you going to say, I'm not really interested in the game that's going to actively do things and set up scenarios that are not designed to be a challenge to overcome, but a surprise or a trollish thing to frustrate you? Like a shrine grabbing you and killing you, like as a surprise, there's no skill issue there. There's no reflex. There's no awareness. There's nothing the player can do to keep that from happening. It literally is designed to irritate you. It's designed to throw you off kilter. That's what it's there for. You have to decide whether or not that's an acceptable thing for a game to do. I think there's good arguments on both sides. Playing a game on its terms is what made me play Elden Ring and then Sekiro. I learned a lot through those games about myself as a gamer. I learned a lot about myself through this game. Originally, I was going to go with and I may do an entire retrospective on this if I actually roll credits on it. Maybe I do a retrospective, because my original idea for the video was wuchangfallenfeathers changed me. That was the POV I was going to go with. We ended up not doing that because we decided in the first 24 to 48 hours, people are more interested in, is it good or not? They don't care about my story and my journey. Now, that can make for a good video later. But the game changed me. It had an impact on me. Even though I would say this is not one of my top games, it's going to be one of the most memorable games that I've played because it did something to me like Ishin did to me in Sekiro. It said, we're going to break you down. We're going to break down your presuppositions. We're going to break down your presumptions about what these games should or shouldn't be. And you're going to meet us on our terms, or you're not going to win. You're just going to frustrate yourself right out of the battlefield. And that's why I said, if hesitation is defeat in Sekiro, I think stubbornness is defeat in wuchangfallenfeathers. If you're too stubborn to change your build, if you're too stubborn to completely respec, because you can do it anytime you want. Like last night, I didn't want to. I was short on time, but I was like, I think I'm going to have to completely respec into dual swords for this fight. It was just my instinct, and I just watched that IGN video, which pretty much confirmed it, that I'm going to have to completely respec and spend all my points again, which it's great that they let you do it, but if you're stubborn, if I mule this up and act like a donkey and dig my heels in and keep going into the fight with my current build, I probably won't do very well. You know? It depends. At some point, you should be able to notice and avoid those mechanisms. You certainly can. You certainly can. Like, I went back to the shrine knowing it was going to attack me. You know? I would say, you memorizing the pain points is part of the learning process. You have to accept that that's part of the process. Oh, I missed your resub. I'm sorry, Kirahi. Kirahi, thank you so much. I had the comment section pulled up on this screen. I didn't see it. Thank you so much for 3 months. Love your content. Please never change. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. What's funny that you say never change is I just say this game changed me. And once again, Stonespire set up that 20 bomb dunker. The 20 bomb's now an Agent of Chaos. It's yours for the taking. It's yours for the taking. I tell you what, I'll throw down a gauntlet. If somebody does the 20 bomb in the next 3 minutes, I'll match it. I'm trying to help out Stonespire here, man. This guy is super this guy is super faithful with that. All right? You guys have 3 minutes. Whichever platform does it, that's who I'm matching. Whoever does it first, whether it's Purple or YouTube. Like Mimics and Souls, they're probably a small detail that's different about the shrine. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is. I'd have to go back and look. We have it running as a short on the channel right now, and it's doing very well. Nova left a comment on the video. Says, I'm sold. Wasn't sure if I'd play this game, but I definitely want it now. Glad this helped. I tried to structure the video in a way that provides you with a robust and an ample amount of information so that you can make a choice. I'm not telling you to get it or not. I'm just saying if you're going to buy it, this is what you're buying. If you're going to buy this game, this is the experience that you're going to have. This is what's going to do to you, okay? Yeah, it's also on Game Pass, so if you guys have PC Game Pass or Xbox Game Pass, you can certainly use that to avoid potentially wasting your money if you want to take a risk. I think that is one of the benefits of Game Pass is like you can try a game that you would ordinarily just flat out skip. I know a lot of people did that with Liza P on Game Pass specifically. Petrov says, happy member for 6 months. Lono, keep up the good work. Thank you so much for 6 months, Petrov. And you guys have 2 minutes left on that challenge that I have posed. If somebody gifts 20 members, I'm matching. The try mentality would make me skip buying it anyway. Do you see it better than Kazan? Do you think Kazan's better than Wu Chang? They're very different games. They really are. I think First Berserker is far better if you're looking for just a pure or maybe more parry-focused fighting system. First Berserker Kazan also has, I would argue, a cooler art style. That's completely subjective, so you might completely disagree with me. Kazan also has difficulty settings, so it makes it a bit more approachable to a broader audience. This game has no difficulty settings, and it'll kick your dadgum teeth to the back of your throat. Like, it's a tough game. It is a tough game. Cowboy and some others felt like it was more on the easier side. So for veteran Souls-like players, they're going to feel it a little bit easier because you can build yourself to be ridiculously strong, and that's where I think you're going to see more and more people be split on the difficulty. Like a Souls veteran that's like really good at coming up with builds, they're going to eat this thing up. They're going to love it because you can respec and experiment anytime you want. You don't lose any XP or points or anything. You can just respec you can just disable an entire node and then go to the next node and just spend all the points on the weapon. And this is something that Cowboy pointed out that's really nice. If you spec into longsword and your longsword's a +4, +5, you don't do that at like a blacksmith or anything. So any longsword that you equip is a +4, +5, whatever number you've gotten it to, because they do it through the skill tree, and the skill tree can be reset at any point. Were there anything like set bonuses with the armor? There were no set bonuses with the armor, but there are these gems that you can put into the weapon, and there are set bonuses there. I had one where I had like increased backstab and some other stuff, and like they all lined up, they all matched, so like it glowed. I think it was like a penetrating set or something like that. So Big Mac says, I had no interest in this game before your review. Now I definitely don't. Great video. Glad it helped you. Yeah, glad it helped you. Great review, says Joker Quinn. Not my cup of tea, but this looks like the game the Souls boys will enjoy. Glad you enjoyed the review. Thank you. Ieto says, the montage of you getting smacked around and DOT'd up by the environment culminating with the Mimic Shrine was beautiful and hilarious. Should have called it Ow My Balls, a review of Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. I was going to call it a game for Souls sadists, but we decided not to. I was going to say Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, a game for Souls sadists, but I decided that was not a good, that didn't really summarize my thoughts very well. The earlier parts are definitely for Soul sadists. Like if you just like to put yourself in a vice and just feel pain, you're going to be in heaven. Because this game will absolutely put you in a wine press. Oh, that was you, Jack Garland. Yeah, it shows a weird on the comments, like Nova Hands shows up as like letters and numbers, like K311 or something. Like, I'm not quite sure why that happens. What do you mean by unpleasantly good? Can it just be good? Maybe watch the video as I explain within 30 seconds that the video will elaborate on that. Why comment on a thumbnail? Like, why comment on a thumbnail, dude? I say in the first 20 seconds of the video, I'm like, I promise that's a compliment, and I'm going to explain what I mean. You didn't get that far, bud? Was it too hard to watch 15 seconds? Just going to reply. It's my email. Oh, it's your email, Nova. Okay. If you guys want a link to the video, I'll provide that periodically throughout this broadcast. If you guys have not watched the video yet, it's super, super helpful to me for you to watch the video, leave a like, leave a comment. There's the link in chat. This is something that we put a lot of time into, so we greatly appreciate all the support you guys have given the video already. It's got a really, really great trajectory. It's being treated very well, and that's thanks to you guys. You guys kind of dogpiled on it last night, and thank you for doing that. Sorry, Stone Spire. Nobody took us up. Nobody took us up on the offer. I threw down a gauntlet. I was going to match a 20. Stone Spire, man, you should be having a go at chat, man. If I were you, I'd be giving them a bit of a talking to. This guy keys up some really great bait, and nobody will honor the man's bait anymore. You purchased Ludo instead. Did they get that patched on Xbox? They said the patch was going to be like a couple hours or maybe a day or something. It had to go through the certification or something. Oh, they dropped the price of the Outer Worlds. Hang on a second. Let me take a look at this. This is sort of interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Let me see here. Let's get this pulled up. Dear Galactic citizens, we have received your SOS via Skip Drone about the pricing. As an organization devoted to making sure the corporations do not go unfettered with an Earth dictatorial, we revised the price of the Outer Worlds 2. We have worked with Redacted. While this will not bring peace to the galaxy or even your local colony, we assure you all that we are here to fight for your colonies. Okay, so my assumption would be this is affecting pre-orders. That would be my assumption. Because the optics is just not great. Like, having that game sitting at $69.99 and Yote $69.99, perfectly good, right? But imagine going to the PlayStation 5 storefront and buying games like Death Stranding 2 and Ghosts of Yote for $10 cheaper than The Outer Worlds 2. Like, that had to be affecting pre-orders, because that is terrible on your optics. Like, there's nothing about that game that screams this is worth a price bump. You know what I'm saying? Like, people said that about Mario Kart, and you're right. But Mario Kart's Mario Kart. Like, globally, the demand for Mario Kart has got to be significantly higher than The Outer Worlds 2. So they can get away with it. People complained, people griped, but they got away with it, right? Now, I even think Nintendo might be questioning doing it in the future, because they're going to look at their numbers for Donkey Kong, and they're going to look at their numbers for Mario Kart, and they might say, hey, we need to hold off on this $80 thing. They could run their numbers and be like, we got a little bit of humble pie on the data sheet here, right? They put Outer Worlds was at 82. Yeah, Outer Worlds 2 was at $80, and they just announced they're dropping it to 70. And I'm telling you, they probably looked at the pre-order numbers, and they're like, we're getting hurt here, you know? It wouldn't surprise me in the least. Guys, if you haven't done so yet already, we're an hour into the broadcast. Do me a favor and hit the like button. Try to get me to 200 likes. Much lighter turnout today. That's not surprising when we drill down on one game for a review roundup, especially when a bulk of the audience is not going to be interested in the game. So that is completely normal. But you guys can really show support with the like button. That's a huge way to help us out. Do people really pre-order much in the digital age these days? I mean, why? Pre-order benefits, like perks and stuff. You can preload the game, pre-install it. Here's what it probably is, Jono. This would just be my guess. There's a percentage of loyalists who tend to just pre-order right away, and they were probably seeing a diminished response compared to what they were expecting. Isn't DK 80? No. Yeah, it's $69.99. Again, I think there's the potential that Nintendo gets a little bit of humble pie on the data sheet, because this thing could sell and they could look at their Mario Kart numbers and they could conclude that it was a bad idea. I don't know. Or they could conclude it was totally fine. Like, Mario Kart's pretty big. Mario Kart's got some pretty strong pull in the market. So, I would hazard a guess that they're probably okay. But I would also say it wouldn't surprise me at all if Nintendo says, "Hey, this didn't go well for us. Let's not do that again." Or they only do it with mainline games, like a mainline Zelda, like a mainline Mario. Because, Donkey Kong in many people's minds is not a mainline Nintendo game. It's a main character, but like he's obviously typically a side character in Mario Kart or Mario Party. We haven't had a mainline Donkey Kong game. Well, I mean, you had the Donkey Kong countries and stuff. Wasn't there one on the Wii that they brought over to the Switch as an HD or something? He's mainline after this game. You're probably right. Thank you guys for the comments on the Wu Chang Fallen Feathers review. I'm just going to read through some of them. These are all within the last hour. MW Davis says pass. That's fair. Ellis here says, great review. Game wasn't on my radar, but I'll definitely try it now. Glad to hear it. Hey, Lono, great video you and Creature put together. This game looks like a buy for me. Glad you liked the video. Great review, Lono. I'm happy it seems like they give the player many tools to overcome all the challenges the game has to offer. Well, thank you for watching, Dark Taco. I appreciate that. Mile High says, great analysis for people who are uncertain about the game. Thank you. Gamer Boy looped back and said, so far the game doesn't sound fun at all. Let's keep watching to see. If the pros so far, it's a hell no for me. And then says, at 11 minutes in, that's a huge pro. Able to reset the skill tree at any time caught my attention. And then says, I watched enough. I'm good for now. I'll nab this on a sale. Not going to pay full price to rage. Those who pick it up enjoy. Great review, Lono. Thank you so much, Gamer Boy. I greatly appreciate that comment. Comments, likes, and watching the whole video, man, is super, super helpful. So thank you to everybody who did that. And thank you to everybody who has already hit the like button on the live show. Make sure and double check it's saving your like. Make sure that's like a ritual that you guys go through. Get us to 200. And then Sazgu says, may I ask if the main menu of the game includes staff credit list or any bonus content? Not sure, honestly. Fantastic work, Reforge team, says Norin. Great video edits, honest opinions on the good and the bad, and nice and in-depth on how the game works and punishes you. Keep up the great review vids. Definitely some of the best on YouTube. I really appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. I think we've gotten to a place where I can do review access, and I'm confident I can put time in a game, because imagine if this wasn't a Soulslike. Imagine if I got review access to Yote, and I could put 30 hours into Yote. Well, I would have put way more into Yote. I'm trying to get into contact with somebody at PlayStation or Sucker Punch to get review access to Yote. I cannot get a response from anybody. I don't know if I'm on a list because I've been very critical of PlayStation. I don't know if I'm on a list because of the crap in 2020. I really don't know. But this game really taught me, like, okay, for the longest time, I really thought, I can't do this. My schedule doesn't allow for it. I've got a little bit more freedom now in the schedule. Our format and our approach to the talk shows has afforded me some opportunity to, like, carve out a couple of hours every afternoon to chisel away at a game, a couple of hours a night as well. I actually do feel confident I'm in a position now to do this, because this was certainly a game where, I mean, there was no guarantee that you were going to progress. Like when you stall out on a boss for 4 hours, that's not going to happen in a game like Yote. Reach out to Andrew Goldfarb. Who is that? Is that somebody? It's almost impossible to network now on Twitter because there are so many, and I mean a stupid amount, an absolutely stupid amount of bots on Twitter that DM. It's almost impossible to get into contact with people. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. I appreciate. I think you have a good shot given the size of your channel and social media footprint. The hardest thing is you can't get anybody's attention on Twitter anymore because their DMs are full of bots. It's super hard to get anybody's attention. Every day I go to my DMs, it is just nothing, and I mean nothing but bots. So maybe if he's active one day on Twitter, I'll just reply and say, you know, hey, I sent you a DM. I know there's lots of bots. We, would appreciate you taking a look or something. Write them an old-fashioned letter. They need to do a Sly Cooper ASAP. I don't know if they would want to. Picked up the game because Lono did a review on it. Can't wait to rage in 12 hours. The bots are rampant. LinkedIn, but it's got bot issues as well. We literally did a trial of LinkedIn Premium so I could DM people, and the result was 0 response. All I get are stupid sponsored messages from people on LinkedIn. Like, every platform now has become a joke because of bots. Like, and AI is probably not helping. He's more active since the state of play. Keep an eye on the account. I was already following him, Lobo, so I hadn't reached out yet. Don't know if you saw the Ready or Not drama. I'm a huge fan of the game, and I'm super happy for the devs that the game is a success on console. Something with, like, they censored some of the gore, and people got, like, super duper mad. Pork Pie, thank you so much for 4 months of members. Says, good morning, Low, and in chat. Good to see you, Pork Pie. Gets us to a nice 3-3-3, and then gets Purple to pull ahead. I threw down a gauntlet earlier, a 20 bomb. We're doing 5 every 50 now, so the next milestone is 350. So we're 27 away. No, I'm sorry, we're 17 away. Let's go through some more of the comments here on the review. If you guys haven't watched my Wu Chang Fallen Feathers review, give it a watch. The light count kind of got stuck, so double check that it's counting. Let's try to get to 200. Thanks for the strong turnout today. You guys are the best, man. The support lately has just been incredible. Denver Miller says, I appreciate this kind of a breakdown. As someone with limited game time, I have to be selective about the games that I purchase. This game looks great, but it is totally not for me. I'm glad I could help. That is exactly what I wanted the video to do. Either affirm your purchase or dissuade you. Either thing to me is a good result. I'm either sparing you the waste or I'm encouraging, your engagement. I think that's what I want to see. I want to see people come to those conclusions. Pork Pie, thank you so much for gifting a member to, oh my gosh. It showed up really weird. It showed up as a single gifted in my combined chat. 17 from Pork Pie. He says it's ours. They have a unique advantage over there on purple, and we are now 50 away from the next milestone. You love to see it. Absolutely crush it. It's now 21-3. Pork Pie says, there we go. The man himself. Pork Pie was my first ever 100 bomb. You were the first. You were my first, Pork Pie. Thank you very much. Lono out here low-key changing the review format. I don't. How do you feel like I changed the review format? I don't know if do you feel like I did something unique that others don't do? I felt like my review was pretty much in line with what others do. I think I made good content, but I don't know if I changed the review format at all. Send him a messenger bird. Yeah, I'll send him a messenger pigeon. Buying it. Love these kinds of games, and this has always looked awesome to me. Glad it helped. Another one here. Anthony Robinson seemingly helped. Citizen JV leaves a comment and says, I'm not a huge fan of Soulsborne games, preferably like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, etc., but the only Soulsborne game I enjoyed was Bloodborne. Yes, this game was hard, but I've mentioned this before. I struggle with these hard-as-nail games. I like the concept and the artistic design of these games and the lore and the mythos of them as well. But to be fair, these types of games aren't built for my liking, and I don't want excessive rage. Totally fair. I think part of enjoying yourself as a gamer... enjoying yourself as a gamer is knowing yourself. And there it is. An Agent of Chaos from Celtblood. 38 months at a VIP rolls us up to 351. We'll see if anybody drops a 50 bomb today to steal it. That's a bigger one to do. But if they do it now, it's an Agent of Chaos. So thank you, Celtblood. No, you cannot change the difficulty. No. You can do that in First Berserker Kazan. If you're trying to get into games like this, I encourage people to play Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor. You can adjust difficulty there. If you feel like you can turn up the difficulty in those games and survive, then you can always wander into First Berserker Kazan and you can turn the difficulty down. I would not get this game if you're looking for a game where you can turn the difficulty down. You will not like this game if that is what you are looking for. This game will punch your lights out and then stomp on you afterwards. I mean it. It will it will punch your lights out and then it'll stomp on you afterwards. That's what it likes to do. Its mission in life is to make you really question your own existence and whether or not you're a gamer. Like I'm telling you boys, it will do that. It'll make you question. It'll make you question everything. I don't even like reviews for any game by any content creators, but I like your reviews. They feel like your discussions of the game are less about trying to sell the game or hate the game. No arbitrary score, says Brett. No, more of a focus on mechanics and never bad-mouthing the devs. Oh, okay. I mean, I appreciate that, Brett. It seems like Corey's saying the same thing. Corey says it feels like a gamer talking about a game they are interested in, not some corporate talking point video. You know what's interesting? I'll just kind of like give you guys some of the inside baseball here and some of the behind the scenes on this. I had to re-record the critical section about 8 times. I didn't like it. It kept ending up being too long. I felt like I was meandering. I felt like I was saying too much. But I also felt like I have a lot to say. I wanted to talk about the unpleasant exploration. I wanted to talk about the generous hitboxes, because, buddy, some of those hitboxes are acting a little sketchy, okay? I want to talk about the surprise like, I wanted that to be an aspect of the video. And I also wanted to talk about trolling the player. There was no way for me to leave any of that out. I felt like if I left any of that out, I was doing the game a disservice. And I actually didn't even include how exploration can be a huge time waste. Like, you can get genuinely confused, lost, dead ends, you don't know where to go. That would have been another, cause for potential criticism. And I just felt like, man, I'm really piling on the critique here, but I just felt like it was necessary. It's like, if I don't include any of this, people are going to be, potentially blindsided by some of this. And I wanted folks to know this is what you're signing up for. When the shrine killed you after the boss, I was dying. That one took me to a dark place. Okay. Has anybody given you crap about spoilers? I don't care personally, but I know a lot of people in the From community don't like to see the boss fights. Nobody has left a negative comment about that. I would imagine if you're watching a review about a game within the first 24 hours, that's just a risk that you're taking. I also show boss fights from basically like the first 30% of the game. I'm not like showing... I don't show my strats, my build. I mean, you can definitely see what I'm doing and learn, but there's like maybe 3 boss fights where you can see the entire fight beginning to end in my review. I would not think any of those are major spoilers because you're going to have a completely different approach, completely different build, completely different experience. I mean, you're not going to glean how to fight that boss without going back and rewatching it. Just on like a one pass, I don't think you're going to feel like you had anything spoiled for you. The one fight, too, after you beat her, there's a cutscene. Creature cut it before you got to anything that actually happens. You don't know what happens. Like, I was glad that we left that a mystery. I got a little bit nervous when he was letting the cutscene play because I was watching a version of the video before you guys saw it. And then when it cut before anything major happened, I was like, yeah. What's Nim saying here? For June, Final Fantasy was 4 on the Xbox only chart, but it didn't even chart on the in the all platform one. Oh, I see what he's saying. I see what he's saying. When you look at all platforms, it didn't even chart. So he's saying that's really disingenuous because Elden Ring was number 1 on the platform and then number 2 overall. I get what he's saying. Showing a boss fight isn't spoiling the game. There are many bosses in Souls games. How many bosses? No idea. I have fought maybe 15. There's surprise bosses. There's open world bosses. There's bosses with their own arena and their own fog wall. I don't know. I think I'm 30 or 40% through the game, and I think I fought around 15 bosses. So all in all, there's probably around 30. I don't know. I could be closer to the end than I think I am. I don't know how close to the end the bride is. I don't have a way of asking someone like Fighting Cowboy because he would be able to tell me because he's played through multiple times. It's not a boss rush. No, the levels are very much interwoven, shortcut, barrages of pain. It's very Souls in that way. Could we get 13 more likes on the video? If you guys are watching and you haven't yet hit subscribe. You can talk in my chat. If you are a member, you can also use the question command in chat or the Q command. When you use that command, it will grab your question and throw it on my question sheet, so consider doing that. If you haven't watched my wuchangfallenfeathers review yet, be sure to do that. Leave a comment. That does support me, so thank you when you do that. It helps out the video. How would I rate the difficulty compared to other Souls games? It's somewhere between Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro, I would think. I mean, I got stuck on a boss for 4.5 hours. Now, some of that might have been because I didn't change my build until about 2 hours in, so some of that's on me. But like Sekiro, the Ishin fight and like the owl fight, like those fights are kind of insane and kind of like they're tough. So I got stuck on her for 4.5 hours, and again, it could have been a handful of things. It could have been my reluctancy to change my build. It could have been the fact that like I don't really play games like this anymore. Like I haven't played a game like this in a while. Liza P was an age ago. I only played the opener of Kazan. I feel like I'm maybe slightly aging out of this kind of a genre. Old man grumpy, old man slow reflexes. You know what I mean? I'm 43. So getting stuck on her for 4.5 hours could be an indication of me, but it also could be an indication of the game. Like the game, I'm telling you, it's tough. It's not very forgiving. And she does have attacks that I think are a little. She's got at least one in particular. I'm going to be very interested to see guide videos come out on how to fight her. I'm very interested to see what you're supposed to do against her one attack. I I could not consistently get her. I'm sorry, get away from her. I couldn't figure it out. Let me see if I can cue it up for you guys in the review video. It was, I genuinely couldn't figure it out. I was like, I'm not really sure what you want me to do here. Let me increase the thing. It's in her second phase. It's this attack here where she goes crazy, right here. So there I didn't even successfully dodge it, right? It's always after she throws the projectile. That's not the projectile I mean. When she throws her blades, after she throws her blades, there's the blade throw, here comes the crazy. So that time I got through it. This is the only time I think I have on record I take no damage here. And I literally think it's just a matter of timing the dodge past her. Like if we watch what I do here, I think I just dodge past her. Let me slow it down. Let's slow down the play speed. And let's see what it looks like. And see, I think I got some RNG there because she went in like an arcing form and missed me. There are times where I feel like she doesn't go as far and you're really close to her after the fact and she gets you on the backswing. So I feel like there's some RNG with the attack as well. Like I feel like sometimes she just ends up really, really close to you. I think there's some other, I think she does it to me again in this fight and I do not get away unscathed like she gets me. Yeah, the blocks are so effective against her. Yeah, she caught me there healing. She's an input reader. She'll frustrate you. She will 100% read your input. She'll be in a neutral, you'll heal, and she will attack. There it is. Here it comes. See how she almost tracked me? Here, I want to watch this one in slow motion as well. So it's possible, again, maybe I timed the dodge incorrectly, so she was able to track me. See? There's an almost magnetism to it. She instantly, so look at the arc she's about to take. She's about to shoot straight at where I was previously standing. And watch what she does. See? She pulls to me instead of shooting. So yeah, maybe I was early. Maybe you have to literally wait for her to move and then shoot forward. Because the way she winds up, you think, oh yeah, this is who she's going to come for me right here. And she's like, no, I'm not. And then you're just absolutely freaking cooked. This is a good one though. Oh, why did I do that? Oh, I needed to heal. Yeah. That's literally cheating. Yeah, there's a definite magnetism to it. Like I said, sometimes it feels a little bit like RNG where you're like, oh, wow, I got super far away from her and she couldn't get me. And then I can't believe I choked there. That freaking kick is such an easy telegraph and I choked. She's stunnable right now. There it is. I can't believe I choked on that kick. Anytime I choked on the kick, I was mad at myself. I was super mad at myself. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think you have to wait for her to commit to the direction, and once she moves, then you dodge behind her. If you dodge too early, she's just going to track. She's just going to track you and come right at you. Pause. I weirdly like input reading. It adds a new element that's fun to solve. The thing that I'm not a huge fan of with input reading is when an enemy goes into a neutral and you're observing them and you notice they're in their neutral, it's like, I don't think healing in that instance should be punishable. I think you're doing the right thing as the player. That's when I don't like some of the input reading. It's like, well, okay, so you just did your attack, you just did this, or I just did this, and now your character is resetting into a neutral stance. That's the best time to heal, when they're kind of like doing like their reset into their neutral, and they're like resetting into their neutral, and they're like, no, you don't, and they like attack you. Come on, I did the right thing. I watched you. I didn't heal at a dumb moment. I didn't get greedy, right? Now, I'm not saying that's true of the footage I just showed you, but sometimes input reading can feel really cheap because you feel like you did the appropriate thing. You're observing the enemy, you're monitoring their behavior, you're monitoring their neutral stance or their reset into neutral stance. And when they break from that, I feel like that's really lame. I'm not a fan of that. Mulaney is a great example of that. Ishin did as well, but he still gave you time to breathe after combos. Yes, if I survive a combo, especially, and I elect to not punish but heal, and you input read and you punish me anyway, that's pretty frustrating. So I don't have any good examples of that. I just know I've been in games and I've been like, come on, bro, like you were in a neutral, you were going into a neutral. Melania's level of input reading is what made her legendary. For sure, it made her legendary and everybody hated her. So overall, though, I think the game it'll probably age better with time, especially if they can push out some of the optimization. If they can analyze some of what I consider to be broken hitboxes from the enemy, that lobster fight in particular. The most egregious example, if you guys remember when I'm going through the generous hitbox section of the video, this guy does a move, and I'm here to tell you, I can't even explain to you what happens. I can't even explain to you what happens, y'all. This one here, this one here is insane. So he grabs his own tail and he's gonna spin across the arena, right? And I know it's coming, so I come over here. Like, what? I'm like, oh, he's winding up. He has set his trajectory. I'm good. I'm going to come over here and get out of the way. No, you're not. What the frick? This one too. This one's pretty bad. She lands like off to the side. Look what it does to my character too. It almost drags my character back into the frame. Like, look where my character is. See how she completely misses with her swipe? She misses me. She doesn't intersect with my character, and then my character, look where she goes. It like pulls her back. It's like, huh? You missed? What are you talking about? He missed. Yeah, the one where he hits me through the rock. Yeah, this one's pretty frustrating. Right through the rock. Let me get back up. Right through the... Oh, creature cut it off. I didn't catch that. He gets me a second time. Right there. It's really, really quick. He gets me a second time. Through the rock. I wonder if the wind attacks can be deflected. They cannot. They cannot. The only thing that can be deflected are blade attacks. Now, the lobster has these big blade hands, and I believe you can... I think you can block those. Anything that's like a range cast or like a punch or a kick, you cannot. You have to dodge. Two months after Xbox said upcoming RPG Outer Worlds 2 would cost $80, it's reversing course. The shift toward $80 video games is not going as smoothly as publishers hope. There's no parry. There is a parry. It's called Deflect. It's in a skill tree, so you don't have it right away. You got to spend to get to it. There's also things you can do to modify it that make it significantly better, because if not, it just sort of minimizes the damage and it doesn't really function as like a knockback. Like, I had mine spec'd to basically knock back the character. So the parry, it functions as a parry once you do that, but it can only do it to blade attacks. You can only do it to blade attacks. So the woman I showed you in the water, she has a kick. Can't block it or parry it. You got to dodge it. She has a punch. She goes, foom, foom, foom. I fought her in a way where she never did the punch. Like, you can fight the enemies in certain ways where you won't trigger certain attacks. And those have to be dodged. You cannot, if you pull your blade up, you're just going to get punched. It's a little strange, but it makes sense. you know, they have different categories for the attacks. Full-on blade attacks can be parried, deflected, or clashed. Clashing is the thing that I think is the hardest to see, and I'm going to try it because Fighting Cowboy was talking about how great it was with the dual blades. What happens is, if I'm attacking and I'm not stun locking them, they're getting ready to do an attack, and I swing and they swing, that's called a clash, and it minimizes the damage I take, and it hurts their posture. So I think that's the strategy I'm going to have to use with the latest boss. The IGN video, they were using the dual blades, and I saw a lot of clashing going on. It seemed a little spammy. It seems a little hard to read, but yeah. It's definitely a strat that you can use. One tip, I found rebinding the parry button to X or another dominant hand button really helps my timing. Oh, really? As opposed to using like the left bumper? Or in my case, it's the left trigger on that game. The costumes look more ridiculous than Stellar Cake. Can this game be enjoyable if there's a more modest... You can transmog anything, Sven. So she has outfits where she's basically in lingerie or naked. You know, and there are a couple of enemies, there's a couple of characters who are, you know, really happy and proud of their booba. It's not super common that you run into an NPC that looks like that. There's one in particular where you're like, good golly, if I get too close, I might get knocked out here. And then she definitely has outfits where she's basically naked or in lingerie. If you like those particular perks, like Cowboy showed off the one that had like great perks, you can transmog it if you prefer to not have your character basically be naked. So, like, there was a couple of times where you change her pants to basically underwear. I'm not kidding you. Like, it's literally like a pair of underwear. So instead of her wearing pants, she's wearing underwear. So, you know, her legs are out, her cheeks are out, right? Sun's out, buns out. Well, you can just transmog it if you prefer to her. Like, I had her in samurai armor a couple times. She had one armor that looked like she was supposed to be sort of like, you know, in cold climate. Like, it had, like, fur on it and looked pretty awesome. There's different helmets. I don't like the helmets on her. I usually transmog. Like, if I'm going to wear a helmet for the perks, I'll transmog the helmet to, like a... they've got, like, cool things that go into her hair. So... And the jiggle physics are there. Going up and down ladders, running, all of that. Yeah. The term is Gooner approved. Wait, did somebody actually put that in their review? Whose review is this? It's a con that it's Gooner approved? Whose review is that? How'd you score it on the Gooner metric? Oh, is it Xbox eras? Are they being just goofy, or are they being serious? I mean, they're giving it such a crazy high score. I don't agree with this score, by the way. I do not agree with this score. A 9.7, I mean, that is just a freaking crazy high score. My experience is this game's like a solid 8, you know, maybe even like a 7.5 because of the performance issues, the hitches, and some of the hitbox issues. A 9.7, I mean, good golly. I don't know why they're saying cons Gooner approved. That's kind of strange. I mean, I guess when you give Redfall an 85, you gotta... I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not. I guess I'm not kidding around. That Redfall review is gonna haunt them for forever. Freaking disaster of a game. 85? Like, what? For the ignorant and uninformed, what's a gooner? Gooner has become the phrase used for people who play games and they want to sort of gawk at the women. They want to goon. They want to stare at T and A. Like, that's literally an aspect of what matters to them in gaming. They go beyond just like, I'd like the characters to be sexy. They're like, no, I want the character to be goonable. New free-to-play hero shooter, third person. Yeah, I saw you were playing that last night. What platforms is that on? Is that just on Steam? Yeah, it looks like it's only on Steam. It's got a 72%. Oh, I remember this one. Yeah. I remember this one. It's like the waifu gooner shooter. Yeah. Down at the bottom, he said it was going to be on both sides, but he said there were too many positives. Oh, so he's being cheeky. Okay. Wondering if they gave it a 9.7 because it went to Game Pass. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair observation, to be like, this seems to be getting a crazy amount of praise, and maybe there's an aspect of like wanting to celebrate games that hit Game Pass as like an adjacent brand value, increase. In the wake of how they've spoken about Special Nick, I've lost a lot of respect for them. I don't think what they did was very professional at all. I thought it was very unprofessional. To have him say something very, very non-controversial in passing, and to say he was doing it to stroke his ego and that he burst out or whatever, it was like, y'all are being really unprofessional. Just disagree with what he said, or, really couch it as it's a claim, it's a rumor. I think that's fair. That's fine to do. But I don't think Special Nick did anything that warranted their response. I think their response was very unprofessional. Nothing wrong with gooning. Just makes your preference everyone else's problem when you don't get it. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know how much of an argument is to be made about that anymore. Like, whether games are goonable or not. I think if you like that in your games, there is ample amount of games that are there for you. So, what happened? Special Nick was on their podcast, and he's the source of the rumor that he has heard from a couple of people that Fable might not make it in 2026. That was basically all he said. Which obviously turns into Fable could be delayed. Fable might slip out of 2026, which I think him saying that is totally fair. I think a lot of people have speculated in the wake of the layoffs that that's something that could happen. Some of these teams are going to be tasked with working with less people. They're tasked with meeting their same deadlines. Like Sneaker SO literally said this could be a problem going forward for timeliness of projects, right? So I don't think what he said is crazy or outlandish. And later they described it as he did it to stroke his own ego, and that he, if he has like what did they say? Like if he has an outburst or he bursts out or blurts out or something. I don't know. I feel like they didn't just throw him under the bus. I feel like they really sort of did passive character assassination. They sort of did this passive false representation of what he did. They really framed what he did in a false way. And I was like, that's just really unprofessional. You could just say, listen, going forward, we don't really want to have a segment where we deal in like the I heard or this or that. But it's like, wasn't the segment called Rumor Mill? Isn't that the entire kind of point? Like having a segment about Rumor Mill and then being mad that somebody shared a rumor? I don't quite understand that. That seems to be lacking in self-awareness. Like, if you don't want to deal in rumors, I think that's completely fine and completely legitimate. Some people are kind of tired of the leaker meta that we're in. the it is claimed meta that we're in. I think people get a little tired of it, and that's totally fine. Like, if you want to run your show and you don't want that going on, that's your prerogative. I personally think it's okay as long as it is appropriately couched as this is a claim, this is a rumor, which is literally what he did. So in the wake of him doing that, sort of attacking him and making it seem like he did something wrong, or claiming that he did it to stroke his own ego, I just think that's very unprofessional. I don't think he was out of line. I don't think he did anything to disrespect them, and then they have disrespected him in the wake of it. I don't know. It's not that they care if I respect them or not, but it's like, come on, boys. I lost a lot of respect for them doing that. It's like, I understand maybe you don't want to burn bridges with publishers, platforms, or developers because you're running a podcast that like feels like a rumor mill or something. I get that. But I don't know. To malign him in the aftermath, I thought was completely out of line and uncalled for. So it'll be funny if it ends up being substantiated at one point or another. Integrity is at a premium these days. But here's my issue, Lobo. I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody saying, I have contacts at the company. Nick has gotten a ton of things right. Barrier was putting all the times in the Discord where Nick has gotten things correct. He clearly has sources. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, this is currently what my sources are telling me. They're telling me that Fable might slip. There's nothing about that that's controversial. Like, if he would have been like, yeah, I've got a couple of sources that have told me, Phil Spencer's addicted to cocaine, well, then yes, you would be like, hey, what are we doing here? That's not the kind of content we want to make. That's not what he said. I mean, he said something that seemed very bland, if I'm honest. Fable might slip. Okay, yeah, it's a big project. They're clearly having some trouble with it. It was slated, and then it moved. We've heard rumors they were having issues with the engine. I think it's believable, that it might slip. We heard the same thing about GTA 6 numerous times. Might slip. It's a pretty big project. Might slip. It slipped! Oh, no! That's absurd. Phil likes meth. They just didn't want to be the outlet that broke the news. They want to remain in good standing with the publisher. Okay. I've talked many times about how that's one of the biggest and most glaring problems with our gaming press, is that the gaming press is in an unhealthy relationship with the industry that they cover. It's massive amount of conflict of interest. It's incredibly unhealthy. The outlets are super dependent on click rate, and because they're dependent on click rate, they can't burn bridges, and since they can't burn bridges, it just creates a very unhealthy relationship. To be that concerned that like Xbox might put you on a bad list because a guy said Fable might slip. Good golly, the brand has gone through so much. That's nothing. That's like such a nothing burger of a story. With everything that brand has been through, I don't think that's like a barn burner of a scandal. Like, this just in. Massively huge project that's already been delayed once might get delayed again. No. Like, okay. I thought it was a very bland, headline. We didn't even run it. I didn't run it in any of the stuff. I mentioned it because people were putting in the Discord, but I didn't do an upload about it. I didn't run it. Because when all that was going on, you go to my live tab, we covered Yote, Pandora, Ori Dev comments on Xbox. We covered Grand Theft Auto 6. We covered new Yote gameplay details, Donkey Kong Bonanza first impressions, Shadow Labyrinth review roundup. You know what I mean? I didn't put it in the thumbs. I don't even think I have timestamps for it. I don't think we even did a segment on it, did we? Yeah, I think we glided right over this one. I don't remember us. I don't think we did. Now I'm even questioning Yeah, no, we didn't. Because I just thought it was kind of like okay, yeah, that's probably very possible. You submitted a question. Let's pull it up. You talk about parrying. Are we going to have a problem with Mafia Old Country? Because you're going to fight with a little knife? Well, I mean, you're jumping to a completely different style of game. Like, I don't think I'm going to go into Mafia the Old Country and be like, this better have a robust parry system. Right? That's not, to me, that doesn't seem to me to be a significant aspect of the gameplay in Mafia the Old Country. Are we calling Starfield a hit? Who's calling Starfield a hit? Starfield got delayed twice and it was a hit? Huh? It's one of the, it's the worst. Isn't it like the worst scored Bethesda game ever by the users and had an absolute flop of a DLC? What do you mean? I don't know about that. Oh, he was joking. He was being sarcastic. I was like, huh? Like, I don't even think the people that like the game would say it was a smash hit. I think they know that, like, El Duderino talked about that last night in the town hall where we were hanging out and talking. And he was like, even as much as he's played, as much as he likes it, he understands that it really lacks the modern amenities, the modern feel that games should have. I think even fans of that game would be like, yeah. I mean, unless you're playing a bit and playing a character like Doc Dark. I'm calling you out, Doc Dark. You know that game wasn't all that. Game of a generation. Game of a generation. The Nintendo Switch edition of Mario Party cranks up the party. Oh, so there's a new version of this. So can I upgrade my current version of Mario Party to that? Is that a thing? Is there going to be an upgrade, or do I got to buy a whole new version of the Mario Party Jamboree game? I was told Death Stranding 2 didn't chart. Yeah, I thought Death Stranding 2 didn't do well. The month of June, the top 20 best-selling games. That's weird. Isn't it weird that it did better than the $80 Mario Kart? Now, Mario Kart World doesn't count physical, but it's above Black Ops. Everybody's like going nuts over how strong Forza Horizon did. I mean, look at Death Stranding there at number 2. Everybody's acting like it didn't do well. I was like, huh? Huh? I was like, what? It's in second place overall. It's up there with Mario Kart and Call of Duty. It did bad though. Okay. Night Rain number 1. The FromSoft and Elden Ring. They pull. They pull, dude. I guess being in second place is just as bad as being in last place if you ain't first or last. I guess. You know Kojima's punching the air right now. He's like, I wanted people to hate my game. Too many people liked it, so I made changes. And they still like it. I can't win. Death Stranding 2 at number 2 with only 4 days in June. I was told exclusives hurt game sales. Oh, they do. Think of how many more copies they could have sold if you had to wait an entire year to play it on all platforms. It came out end of June. Death Stranding 2 release date. Yeah, what's the exact 26? 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26. 26 It came out on the 26th. That's funny. That is so funny, dude. Jiminy Christmas is out for a week, and it's in second place for the month. Oh, my lands. It didn't do well, though, y'all. It didn't sell. Yo, Zepp says, love your review of the game so far. Lono was actually very interested and informative to watch, especially for someone like me who's just starting out with their Dark Souls, Sekiro, Elden Ring journey. I hope it helped you make a choice, man. Thank you, everybody who has supported that video so far. I greatly appreciate it, man. We got a comment here from Mike. Raw Gameplay left a comment and said, thanks, good video. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Gone Kid says, I was going to get this already back when they first showed it. You just confirmed my decision. Glad it helped. The way you did this review is awesome. I think this review can appeal to casual or hardcore gamers with how the topics are addressed. Well done. I really appreciate that. That's very kind. The response we're getting to this review is like incredibly encouraging. I really pushed through, my comfort zone. I really pushed through. I was super discouraged a couple of times. Like, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to keep playing this, man. I don't know if I'm good enough. Like, I was having a hard time with some of the fights, and I got it. It clicked, and I started playing better. Arrow Odd with 10 months in Member Plus. Great review, Lono. I'll probably get it after I beat Donkey Kong. Thank you so much. We are sitting at 352 on the week. 500 members on the week includes re-ups and gifts. So check your primes, check your resubs. That unlocks Friday night. I am giving you guys the opportunity to unlock Saturdays as well, just for the next 2 weeks, because I will be out of town the first week in August, and so we want to give you guys the opportunity to get a little bit more content. Yes, we have discussed the Outer World situation. It does appear that it was likely affecting things. I can't imagine having Outer Worlds 2 sitting on the storefront of like the PlayStation, which is the largest console platform that it'll be sold on, sitting on PlayStation for $80 next to Death Stranding 2 and Yote at $70. Also, probably doesn't help that like one of the biggest games this year, Expedition 33, is like what, 50? Wu Chang just came out at 50. Ain't no way that was helping them, man. The optics on that. I mean, can you imagine being kind of disconnected from all of this? And all of a sudden, you pull open the storefront, and you're like, oh yeah, Outer Worlds. Like, what the frick? Like $80. Did you see Digital Foundry correcting Colt Eastwood about how exclusives aren't dissolving? PlayStation and Nintendo are focusing on their own platform. Xbox is the only platform that's giving their exclusives to their competitor. Yeah, I thought Oliver... I really like Ollie. I've liked him for a long time. I think he and the boys at Digital Foundry do good work. And I really thought his response was very good. It was very factual. It was respectful. I thought his response was great. Yeah. Yeah, Borderlands 4 is $70. That's right. Borderlands 4 had all that $80 controversy because of what Pitchford said. I still have a gut feeling that Randy Pitchford knew what he was doing. I don't think he necessarily meant to by putting his foot in his mouth. I think he was broaching the subject on Twitter, knowing that it would cause a stir, and knowing that that would give him leverage with the publisher to say, you better not do this, right? You better not do this. I think that's why he broached the subject. I do think he went too far and stepped in it and said what he said in a way that made people mad. But I think he was intentionally engaging the $80 price point topic on Twitter. I think Randy knew that it would give him leverage with the publisher to say, do you see? Do you see? Are you sure you want to do this? Look how mad everybody is. And now Outer Worlds is backing off. So, I don't think he necessarily typed the real fans line thinking, yeah, I'm going to make people mad with this. I think that was just Randy being Randy. I think he initiated the conversation thinking, I'm going to get the crowd stirred up on this, and then I'm going to go to the publisher and say, you better not do this. I think that was his best leverage to stop it. Because when he took the question at the panel, you could tell you could almost sense he was worried it was going to be 80, and he just didn't like the idea. Oh, did Mighty Keith figure out what happened with his video? Mighty Keith says, after doing some testing, it seems whatever changed with YouTube is sending my videos out to more new viewers, but the trade-off is it is not notifying a lot of people who are already subscribed. I have no idea how to fix this because I'm pretty sure YouTube does not care. Yo, Rissick gifts a single member, and JC renews the VIP for 26 months. Thank you, JC. Says, add it to the total, and let's get that Friday and Saturday stream. Thank you so much, JC. And that gets us to 354. Thank you so much, Rissick. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on the platform. I'm really not sure. If you guys are having trouble finding the content or not getting notified, I always say the same thing. That frustrates me for you, that you're like, hey, I'm not getting notifications, I'm not seeing the content. One of the best things to do is like unsubscribe, resubscribe, reset your bell button. That can fix it. Sometimes I won't be on your homepage. Check your subscriber feed. That's a great reason to be in the Discord. You will not miss out on content. You will not miss out on noties. The platform's just doing weird stuff. It's just doing weird stuff. You can't rely on it. So you've got to take care of your own sort of feed and your own homepage to a certain degree. I'll meet you halfway. I'll unsubscribe. Thank you, Danny, for 39 months in a VIP. I greatly appreciate it. Where are we here? Hang on. 5. You guys have more than 5, don't you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9 to 21 in the daily contest, and that gets us to 355. I don't need notifs. Right. We're along for the ride as YouTubers. Like, I could talk to you about my metrics all day and nobody cares. Like, I don't expect you guys to care. I'm more interested in, if I'm not on your homepage and I'm not hitting your sub feed, I don't want you frustrated as a user. So try those things to fix that. Try to be in the Discord or wherever, so that way you don't miss out on content, because I don't like that either. You know, when I'm subscribed to something or I'm following somebody and I don't see their stuff or get notied about their stuff. So, hype reveal trailer incoming. Oh, the Battlefield thing? Yeah, that's tomorrow. Yeah. That is tomorrow. I think we're gonna co-stream that. I think we're gonna co-stream that. And then I think after that, I may show you Wu Chang, because I can stream it tomorrow. Wish Rockstar would confirm or deny we're getting a 60 FPS update for Red Dead 2. Oh, yeah, right? I think if they did a 60 FPS update to Red Dead 2, I think it would really add a lot of credence to those of us that think there's going to be some type of a performance mode for GTA 6. You know? Something. I mean, Battlefront 2 is where DICE should take their lesson from. It's killing it right now. Is it still holding after the bump? Homie. They had their little surge up to like 35,000 players, most players ever. They're right back down to 6,000 or 9,000 concurrent peaks a day. I don't know if that's a sign of I don't think that's as big as maybe you might think. It's comparatively big to where it was. Comparatively big, but that doesn't mean that it's like gonna have this massive commercial success if they really reinvest in it. I don't know. Especially anything tied with Disney and Star Wars, I feel like more and more companies are going to be hesitant to do that because Disney wants the Star Wars game cadence to be so fast, and then they have their license agreements as well, and they have like their royalty split. Okay, August 1st to the 4th is the China Joy Project. Black Myth Wukong will be there. Exilage. Hey, that's a China Hero game. Lost Soul Aside, China Hero. Phantom Blade Zero is not China Hero. It should be, but it's not. Retrace the Light, Tang Legends, Unending Dawn, that's a China Hero project, Vanishing Starlight, and Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Unfortunately, well, wait a minute, hang on. That's August 1st through the 4th? Shoot. I leave on the 4th. I'm hoping, maybe I'll be able to create some content with that before I leave. Black Myth DLC. I don't know. I would love a complete overhaul. I would love a complete overhaul of the performance mode on console. Good golly. It just runs so bad. I got to that second area after I beat the bear, and I was like, this is ugly. I can't believe people put up with it. I can't believe people describe it as good either. If you guys are subscribing to Talk in the Chat, make sure to introduce yourself. Unpleasantly good sounds effing awfully maybe worth it. That's kind of factual. That's kind of accurate. Black Myth was your game of the year 2024. It's not mine. Battlefield 6, €80 console, €70 PC. There'll be a special edition. No early access on any of the editions. Will you pre-order it? I was baited. No talking about Wu Chang. I mean, I've been live for 2 hours and 10 minutes. I mean, there's only so much we can say. If you have a question about Wu Chang, you can ask. My review is also on the channel. It's 26 minutes long. It's got plenty of great information in it. You can watch that if you'd prefer, you know, a more condensed version of the conversation. I mean, I've been live for 2 hours and 11 minutes, homie. I mean, staying completely only on one subject is really difficult in the live environment. Krenab says, do you trust Alinea Analytics? I don't even know what that is. No offense. I mean, I didn't take offense. Coming into a live stream and expecting it to be constantly about that topic, I mean, is a little... If we were 5 minutes into the stream, I think your expectation's fair, but you can see below that I've been streaming for over 2 hours. So... I mean, my expectation when I go into a live stream is typically they're going to be on subject for the first 20 to 30 minutes, maybe the first hour. After that, it's going to be a bit of a, you know, bit of a free-for-all. Are you still playing Death Stranding 2? I have been playing Wu Chang Fallen Feathers for the last couple of weeks with review access so I could put out my review today. So I had to put Death Stranding 2 on hold. I'm about halfway through the game with over 20 hours. This is the old Fallen Feathers bait and switch. It's a tale as old as time. Gameplay is king. Great story, great combat. Yeah, I mean, I think gameplay is king as well, but I can't enjoy gameplay when the performance mode is bad. And the Black Myth Wukong performance mode on console is really bad. Black Myth Wukong will have a presence at China Joy because of the Xbox announcement. A DLC would be nice, though. It's the guys you see throwing out sales numbers on, and everybody on Twitter uses them as a source. Yeah, I don't know enough to commentate on their reliability as a source of data, so I can't really comment on that source. You're really bad. No, I'm not. You always take it so personal, Lobo. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? I'm not insulting your girlfriend. I mean, maybe I am. Maybe you have a very unique relationship with Black Myth Wukong, but, I'm just saying, man, that performance mode's it's kind of cheeks. You know what I'm saying? You love Chinese mythology. It's so cool. There's a China Hero project that you're probably going to like. What's the name of it? It's the one that takes place during the Ming dynasty. Expedition 33 secured Game of the Year for me, says Ganks. The scene after beating the Paintress and thinking it's over and then getting the epilogue messed me up. It's good stuff. Wukong's going to be at the PlayStation booth, so no, it's not because of Xbox. We're going to get more of the secret exclusivity deal rumors going. Of course Black Myth Wukong is at the PlayStation booth. That secret exclusivity deal, it's still going. It's still happening. I'm just going to start laughing at that stuff, man. It's not worth actual interaction and thoughtful interaction. It's just a bunch of nonsense. Just laugh at it. Yeah. The secret exclusivity deal. Yep. Still going, boys. Hope it gets a performance patch because I think you'd love the game if it performed well. Did you see Colin and Jez talk about that on the podcast? I didn't. I think I saw the clip. Didn't Colin basically say, we heard there was a deal. The details about the deal were that they help with development. That should have been the end of this. Didn't he basically say something like that? Like, this should have been a nothing burger of a story? I mean, I know that's what I said multiple times. I was like, this is a nothing burger. We heard rumors there was a deal. We learned the details of the deal. We should be able to move on now. Like, it's not some money-hatted thing. They help with production. It's clear the game struggled on console even after launch, so it makes perfectly good sense that PlayStation would have helped them with production. Seems like a bit of a nothing burger of a story. If Black Myth is 8 out of 10, is Wu Chang 9 out of 10 because of butts and boobs? I mean, I don't score games based off of that metric, so I would say they're very different. I think Wu Chang is a lot like Sekiro meets Black Myth Wukong. But I wouldn't necessarily pit Black Myth Wukong and Wu Chang against each other. They're very different games. They're still running with PlayStation, had a deal with them. They did have a deal, and we know the details of the deal. The deal was, you need help bringing it to the platform. We're going to help you bring it to the platform. So it came to the platform faster. It's riveting. That's riveting front page news, boys. This just in. Platform engineers help the developer bring the game to their platform. Is everybody okay? I know I said that and didn't really give you a warning before saying that. I know that was pretty controversial and that was a shocking thing that I just said. You got the noti. Some of his subscribers got the noti, but a significant number did not, Fuzzy. It was significantly like down for him. You know what? I wonder something, chat. I wonder if Special Nick said what he said about Fable, and that was, met with frustration, anger. I would argue, kind of throwing him under the bus, pretty unprofessional. I wonder, did they react the same way about the claims about the secret exclusivity deal with Black Myth Wukong? I wonder if there's consistency there. I'm just asking questions. That's all I'm doing. I'm just asking questions, y'all. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of the story, you know? Just being a little investigative about it. I wonder if we receipt pulled, you know? If the rumor and the claim, the I heard about the Black Myth Wukong secret exclusivity deal, I wonder if it was treated with the same level of skepticism. Excuse me. I posted no hit boss fights in Wu Chang. Said it's definitely worse than Black Myth Wukong. Did they say why it's worse than Black Myth Wukong? Like they did no hit boss fights. What made them say it was worse? Lono doesn't get it. We're supposed to let studios have so much trouble that they end up shutting down. That's right. Yeah, I'm curious why he thought it was worse. By what metric did he not like it? Ong Ball's a goat. Yeah, I think the no-hit fights in this game, I'm looking forward to somebody doing a no-hit on the chick in the water. What's her name? Captain Hongol, I forget her name. He said it's too easy. Fighting Cowboy said he felt like it was one of the easier Souls games he played, primarily because of the builds he could come up with. So I had a hard time with a couple of the bosses. Like, they really took me to the cleaners. But once I kind of got good, and to credit to what they're saying, I think I'm evidence of what Fighting Cowboy said. Once I changed my build, it turned the tide of the fight. There was a fight I was in yesterday. The first 4 times she killed me, I was like, I don't know what the frick you want me to do. And then I got the right move on her, and the whole fight clicked, and I beat her 2 times later. Like, I went from being like, I have no idea what to do, to just wiping the floor with her. So I think they're correct, but I definitely think those with a higher level of competency in these games are going to be very, very efficient. Folks like myself that are more in the middle of the road, like, I get through these games fairly well, but I'm not at their level of proficiency, not even in the same league as them. I'm going to go much slower than them. I'm going to get stuck on a boss for a couple of hours like I did. Most of the other bosses that I fought in the game have only taken me about an hour. But the woman in the water, she took me 4.5 hours. So it's like Elden Ring. You just have to build. You just have to build variety so even noobs can pass through the game. No, sir, no. I could hand the controller to you with the absolute best build. I could even tell you how to do the fight, and you would not be able to play it as like just a noob. Just like, oh yeah, I've got this. No. It's not like a magic build or like summon mimic build in Elden Ring where you don't even have to do much. You wouldn't be able to play this game that way. It's kind of like when I played First Berserker Kazan on easy, and it gave me more stamina and more damage, and I took less damage or something like that. It just basically increased my survivability. You still had to hit all the parries. You still had to hit all the dodges. Like, you're not going to button mash your way through on First Berserker. Now, they've added a whole new difficulty level in First Berserker called Beginner. I don't know if on Beginner you can button mash your way through that game. I really don't know. It's such a parry-centric game. Wu Chang is very dodge and deflect centric. I don't think a noob would skate through this game. Even with guides and best build guides, I still think you would struggle in the fights. If you classify yourself as like a Souls noob, this is not the game to play. The punishment in the environments alone, from the poison to the traps to the surprise like how much they like just surprise you and like drop things on you or shoot you or, you know, shove you off a cliff. A Souls noob would absolutely hate this game. They wouldn't understand it. They would be like, why is the game being so mean to me? Right? So I don't think a Souls noob would like it very much at all. Zelda Heart says, have you tried the version 2.0 of Lords of the Fallen? I couldn't stand the original game at launch, but now I'm having a blast. I have not gone back and tried it. No, I have heard nothing but good things. I've also heard people are really enjoying it co-op. I don't think Madam and I would enjoy it via co-op because of... I don't know. I've always kind of thought maybe we are missing like a slam dunk experience there, but I feel like I would just get really frustrated. She would get really frustrated. She doesn't like playing games with me if I'm going to get salty, and I definitely get salty when I play these games, so it's better for us just to play casual games. You know, RoboQuest was a blast. They haven't fixed the disconnects yet. We're really loving co-op and Donkey Kong Bonanza. So I'm a noob, I'll let you know. Okay. Kazan difficulties changed a lot since you played it. The devs have been adding patches every 2 weeks or so since launch. The old easy difficulty's gone. The only normal was adjusted. It sounds like they made easy normal from what I heard. And then they have beginner, normal, hard, extra hard. There's like 4 now or whatever. So I've not gone back and tried beginner. Like, I can't really find good details on it either. Because when I tried easy, which was months ago when the game came out, like, when did it come out? First Berserker, wasn't it like April or March or something? It was March. Yeah, it's March. When I tried it, I was like, oh, it just made my survivability a little bit better. I still had to get good. I still had to hit all the parries and stuff, or I would have been done. New Chronos Dawn vid just dropped. Oh, I saw them say they were dropping new gameplay today. It should be on my homepage. I've expressed interest in that game a lot. All I have is Wu Chang stuff right now because I was searching for that this morning. An hour ago, Bloober Team dropped a 10-minute gameplay showcase. We're trying to be more flexible in these environments, just to kind of like react to stuff on the fly. I know this is like way off topic, but we're 2.5 hours in. Just finished dual wield game and the difficulty is the same. How is it the same though? They said that they added the beginner mode to make it a lot more approachable. When you say it's the same, Dodgy, do you mean the normal is the same, or are you saying that the easy is the same? I'm not quite sure I understand what you mean. Oh, get the frick out of here.
I've entered the A0 sector. Heading forward.
She sounds like Celine. Oh, the normal hasn't changed. Okay, thank you. By the way, guys, if you haven't hit the like button yet, smash like. I think Echoes of the End looks really good, but the combat looks really clunky. It could be really intentional and really good, but the combat looked kind of clunky in Echoes of the End. It's kind of like Forspoken meets God of War. Got some Dead Space vibes. This is Chronos.
The threads that used to bind the world together are snapping there in Sector A0. And as they do,
The frick?
chaos looms through the wounds in reality.
This is like Dead Space and Returnal had a baby. This is called Chronos New Dawn. It's from Bloober Team. This comes out this year, doesn't it? I'm not a huge fan of the gun sound. It sounds really thin, but I guess it doesn't seem that powerful yet. Maybe the sound gets better the stronger it is. It seems like they're kind of spongy. Graphically, the game looks fantastic. Okay, that sounded better. It could be early weapon, early fights where your gun's not very strong and you have to, like, upgrade it. I'm a little concerned about how they're doing the super, super duper slow pans. Like, this guy's playing this like he's, you know, baked out of his mind and doesn't want to move too fast. Like, the camera pans are just so slow. Okay, now we're moving. Okay, come on. The font is a really interesting choice. It reminds me of Fallout for some reason.
My work is endless. My failures are numerous.
Okay,
to set up an ARC-class outpost.
That was a better camera pan. Yeah, that was a better camera pan.
To set up an ARC-class outpost, but I still can't produce enough power to carry out my plan.
Okay, so you can see here, this is kind of what I was getting at. The firepower is 2 out of a potential 6. So yeah, it is on the weaker side of things. So this is early in the game. You know, currency. Also, you can see here there's X's, as in maybe you've got to get a piece part or something else to go past this. Maybe there's another currency required as well the further you get. So we have a suit that can be upgraded, a flamethrower, an explosive, handgun, shotgun, carbine. So I'm wondering if it'll be more of sort of a small arsenal that you invest in over time.
Every time I manage to weld something else rips. Yet I must try.
Can I just say that I love when games do this. So they're establishing backstory and lore here with this recording, but the player can kind of keep doing what they're doing. They interacted with the menu, they're moving around, they're going to obviously go over to this chest. I think this is wonderful. I think more and more games should do the exposition that allows you just to kind of keep going. When do we move past finding exposition on tapes? I actually love that. I love that. I just get to kind of keep going, and I feel like I'm being immersed in environmental storytelling while the tape's playing and I'm just kind of moving around. I actually prefer that.
If I succeed.
That's been in games for years. That's what I'm saying. I love when games do it. There are other games where you have to like stop and it puts you in a menu and you got to like sit there and listen or read. I like when they let you walk around. I'm saying, like, I want more games to do this. Like, don't do the halt the player exposition, got to stand here and listen. Like, let me walk around and do stuff, you know?
I might be able to stop the anomaly's negative impact on the surrounding area.
Yeah, I agree, Pathalon. Very Dead Space
I
vibes.
be able to deliver the long-acquired essence to the terminal.
Wait, why didn't you open the chest? It's right there. It's got a green light on it and everything. What the frick, man?
When will I be able to deliver the long-acquired essence to
Don't you dare. Don't you dare!
is our caller.
Oh, frick all the way off, dude. That's so trollish, man. How do you not open that? I'm so triggered. I am so triggered. I'm gonna shut the whole video off. Maybe he knows it's a mimic. Or she knows it's a mimic. Right.
Hope abandon.
I swear that's the voice actress for Celine. I swear that's her.
Initiating the anchor's frequency synchronization. Temporal destination reached.
Now we got some Resident Evil vibes.
Proceeding with the search for the target. I found the passage in the underground, but...
Yeah, it's locked. Obviously. Try searching by the morgue, would you?
If you guys are looking for Wu Chang Fallen Feathers coverage, I'll take your questions if you have any. I'll also provide a link in chat if you want to see my 26-minute review in progress. We've been streaming for over 2.5 hours, so this video just debuted. It's a completely separate game, but we wanted to watch it. The live stream's a bit of free form once I've been live for a while. It seems a little heavier on the horror side than I expected. Bust that box open. There's the classic Dead Space stomp. Dude, what the frick is going on, man? Are we living in a VCR? Okay, energy. Somebody just left their tie right there on that stool. That is a gigantic key. Get the frick out of here. Gonna get grabbed. No, don't do it. Oh, what's he doing? You got bad aim, no dodge. Oh, shooting their legs out. Aha. Crowd control. Well, that's a big one. That's a big one. She's got a lot of hands. So I have a sneaking suspicion I may not enjoy this game because of the spongy enemies and the slow movement of the character. That doesn't create intensity for me. It makes me feel frustrated. Like I feel like I'm walking in wet cement and the enemies are just like grabbing me, hurting me. So I'm a little off put by what I've seen. I know some people love that. They love the intensity of like limiting my moves, slowing me down. There's these crazy macabre-like creatures trying to grab me. I'm not weak points. I know. I'm just saying I'm looking forward to this game, but right now I'm like, this is the kind of stuff that turns me off really quickly because I feel like you're creating intensity by making me move like a geriatric, and I've never been a big fan of that.
Seem right. This place seems suspended between space and time.
I can't see anything. Okay, we're almost to the end. It's interesting too that they still don't have a release date. They're still just saying fall. It's really interesting to have that much gameplay and still not lock in a release date. Maybe they're going to use Gamescom or one of the upcoming events to reveal their release date. Yeah. I'm so ready. Yeah, it had Dead Space vibes, but some of that combat just felt super slow, like slower than Dead Space. Like, I feel like Dead Space is a pretty good combination of, like, there's enemies, you're not like a super soldier running around super fast, but you do have movement, you do have the ability to, like, slow them down and things like that. So that actually looks slower than Dead Space, which, to me, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I've been looking forward to that one for a while. So we'll see if maybe my instinct is incorrect. There was a game that we played recently that did that. I believe it was Back for Blood. I was not a fan of how they created intensity and sort of like fear, like, you know, trying to get away. I didn't like how they did it. It seemed their method of doing it was to make me move really slow. Does that make sense? So, was not a huge fan of that. I don't want to belabor the point, though, because I do think it's better for a stream like this to primarily be on topic, and the first 2 hours or so was pretty much all about Wu Chang, questions about Wu Chang, things like that. I don't want to belabor the point. I also don't want to be drawing away from the upload either, given that that's something that we really want to see be sort of the thing carrying the day today. So I'm going to put the link in chat one more time for folks. If you have not checked out my Wu Chang Fallen Feathers review in progress, the link is in chat. Check to see if you want to see a no-hit run for Wu Chang. Yeah, I don't want to see that just yet. But what I probably will do right now is I'm going to take a break, and then I will give you guys the opportunity to extend, because we're going to fall behind a little bit on pace if you guys are trying to do the Saturday stream. And I know people enjoyed that. You guys unlocked that last week. I'm going to be gone first week of August. So what I've been doing is saying, hey, we'll give people the opportunity to unlock an extra stream, a Saturday stream, because I typically don't stream on Saturdays. So, but I do need a break. If you haven't hit the like button yet either, do me a favor and do that. So enjoy your time away. Well, it's still a ways away. We've got this week and next week before I go anywhere. We still got 2 weeks still before I go. So yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break, and I'll hit some ads. And you guys are the best. Keep smashing like. Make sure you go through that ritual on YouTube. It really does help us out. All right, I'll be right back. Sorry, y'all. Longer break than usual. The kiddos were upstairs playing, and we had a friend over there playing with some remote control cars. They wanted to show me something. So, Mr. Gaming Chair, how long have you and Lono had this gig? Inclined to be laid back. That's ridiculous. Yeah, they might have just been walking slowly, Lobo, but once they got into the combat, I was kind of like, I don't know. I was a little turned off by it. It was like, it feels like the character doesn't have a lot of lateral agility or movement. So the sort of face tanky kind of stand there and shoot legs out thing and stomp. I hope there's a little bit more to the combat than that. Should have put the chair on the mic last night. I've always wanted to talk to that guy. So I'm trying to make a decision here on what we should do. I like to give you guys the opportunity to extend, but we're under 3 hours, and I kind of feel like we need to go to green room. I feel like this live stream will perform better if it's under 3. I also want the upload to sort of be the primary thing on the channel right now. So I think we need to boogie to green room. We're on pace. We're okay on the week for Friday night. We'll have to kind of scramble the next 2 days if you guys want to unlock Saturday. So I like to let you guys extend, but I actually think we've kind of run course on the topic. I don't know if I want to keep going with a Wu Chang live stream that we're not really talking Wu Chang, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm torn. This is great, just like Dead Space was. Oh, I was like, I thought you were talking about the live stream. Like, no way, this is great. Like, keep going. I was like, we're just kind of hanging out. Go live. Schedule a stream. Let's see. Reuse the settings. Monetization off. Members Plus and above. You try the new RoboCop game? I tried the first one and thought it was fine. It didn't really grab me, so like I wasn't interested in the new one. You know what I mean? First-person shooters have a hard time like really grabbing my attention right now. Borderlands 4 will probably be the first-person shooter that I spend the most time with in recent years. Yeah. Okay. I want to make sure that it saved this properly. Okay, it did. All right, let me set up redirect. All right, you guys on purple don't have to do anything, but I'm going to switch it to sub-only mode. Eventually, this will be a sub-only stream on purple. We haven't yet unlocked that ability, but we will eventually. Green room link is in the chat for you on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for being a supporter of the channel. If you're watching this green room, this is something only available to Member Plus and VIP. It's kind of a behind-the-scenes thing. So if you're at the end of the live broadcast and you can't come with us, I'd prefer if you don't go watch on Twitch for free. You're not going to be able to do that for very long. I understand why some of you do that, but if you do want to support the channel directly, that is how I do this full time. We are basically like the podcasts that live on Patreon, except we kind of do both. We do free public content here on YouTube and then members-only content. So for $6 a month, you support me in what we do directly, and you get into the behind-the-scenes content. So I'm going to end the previous stream and bring folks over, and then I will need to change that